Excellent.
Amazing.
I cannot wait.
We know it's Callie's fault. When do they
Oh
start
yeah,
playing
no.
together?
She literally said, "I'm sure Bibu will play this with me," and thus the curse was cast.
When do they start playing together?
Yes.
I mean, so what?
I
to be
feel
fair,
like Bibu was unfortunately destined for chaos.
Callie is destined to become a sister. She's destined to become a Repentia, not because she did anything wrong, but because I want an eviscerator.
Put me at the front, Captain. But you
I
didn't do anything
mean-
wrong. Put me at the front, Captain.
Put me at the
No,
front, Kenneth.
She wouldn't be a Repentia, because they're not the only ones that get eviscerated. Surely a normal SOS can
She'd
get
be a
that without going
Canoness.
through that.
Yes, she'd be a jump pack Canoness with Eviscerator.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. They
But
gave
she-
jump pack cannons.
Oh wait, no. She would have the halberd because the halberd can be turned into a scythe.
Oh yeah, she'd have the halberd, and of course she has what is it? Righteous Fury or whatever the enhancement is. Gray.
Yeah.
The discard
Yeah.
miracle dice to get extra attacks and strength. Sure, seems balanced.
Yeah. In other news, the salt mine friend was also then turned on to the fact that the Titans exist and learned about the one that has a cathedral. And I'm like, yeah, check out the one that has a city on it.
Yeah.
The one that has a what?
And
No, I know.
then the person in the salt mines who is big into 40k, it's like, why did no one at me? And I'm just like, on the one hand, I considered it. On the other hand, I didn't know if he was busy with work yesterday, so I didn't want to bother him with that. And he taught me about forks.
Oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
I'm
the
wondering,
real form of orcs.
why the fuck did you crackheads not tell me about Quarks and how cool
We
they
did.
look in their armor?
We've mentioned them before, and B, unfortunately, they're only a possibility. We know they existed once a very long time ago. They
Well,
don't exist
technically,
now.
they exist. No, that's not true. Trazen has one.
Well,
Trazen
okay.
has
Yeah,
Let me
one, but-
rephrase
Trazen has
that.
everything.
There are none that are running around free.
There you
However,
go.
everyone is very, very certain that Gazcool is like one good day away from becoming one.
He is so close because he can speak perfect High Gothic, I believe it was.
Yes, he
Yes.
he
So he-
taunted. He taunted Yerrick in High Gothic. Okay, Max. If you read nothing else, if you read no AM fiction, but the Yerrick stuff is fantastic.
You know,
And the best one of all literally involves Gazcool captures Yerrick after tricking him. He blows up the Fortress of Arrogance, Yerrick's personal Baneblade, which, God, I love that name. He takes away the eye, he takes away the power claw, and he literally throws him into the bottom of a hole filled with squigs. And Yerrick starts killing squigs barehanded and uses their teeth to make a ladder out of the hole. Yerrick gets to the top of the hole, and Gazcool's just there like, yeah. He then takes Yerrick, puts him with all of the prisoners, and purposefully allows Yerrick to stage a prisoner revolt to steal a transport. Gazcool then crushes the rebellion, knocks Yerrick out again, and then Yerrick wakes up in the commissar in his full uniform with all of his equipment perfectly restored and a perfectly functioning void space capable lander. And Yerrick just looks at him and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Gazcool looks him dead in the eye and in High Gothic says, "Good enemies are hard to find. You're one of the good ones. Go back to Armageddon and tell them that I'm coming back."
First off, perfect evidence for my claim that I think the only reason the orcs haven't overrun the galaxies because that'd be too boring for them.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
100%, obviously.
Second, I would read Asher Militarium fiction if Humble Bundle would quit dick writing the Space Marine novels. That's the
Well,
only thing
yeah.
they give you is the Space Marine novels.
Okay, listen. If I
They
send
don't branch
you
out to anything aside from the tabletop RPG.
If I send you the Yarrick Omnibus, will you read it?
Yes.
Done.
I don't know how
Send
long
it to
it'll
Yarrick
take.
Omnibus.
I don't know how long it'll take me, but yes, I'll read it.
It is chunky. And if you like the Armageddon stuff, the only Black Templar book I will ever tell people to read is Hell's Reach, because Grimaldus is a fucking bro. He's still an asshole, and he's still a Black Templar, but he is a bro.
But yeah, so yeah, we've been scratching the surface of some of the crazier shit of Warhammer for one person in Salt Mine.
Callie turned herself into a prune.
Yeah. We saw that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, she's Prin Liope now. Expert on Warhammer lore.
Yeah. And then I got to explain to my so another friend's like, the only reason I don't do Warhammer is because it's expensive as shit and you got to paint and assemble stuff. It's like, but surely you could just play the tabletop out. It's like, not. It's hard to play the tabletop without physical representations of stuff. And then
Also,
he's like,
people tend
but
to
I'm
not really appreciate it if you show up with a bunch of gummies and are like, these ones are Imperial Guardsmen and these ones
the
are tanks.
this
Yeah.
this is battle tech where I can show up with a cereal box and say this is my unit.
Yeah.
We
Or
had
quarter,
that happen at our local
or
shop.
a piece of gum. But
How'd that
but
get
he's
taken?
like, I've heard that GW.
It was a thing. The tournament organizer let it
Hold up.
slide
Hold up.
because yes,
Sorry, you continue.
tournament organizer let it
Stein
slide.
changed his
Yes.
nickname. Let me just
No, I didn't.
fix that. There we go.
I didn't change that.
You attempted to alter the skeins of fate. Such is not permitted for one such as you.
Yeah. So, local organizer allowed it by virtue of he's laid back and all. But if this was any other place and any other organizer, hell, one of the co-organizers was willing and ready to just kick him out type thing. It would have been you get kicked out because like some of them looked correct, other ones were this is a ball with 2 paper wings.
Ah, brah. Nah.
Bro did not just show up with the snitch and expect to use that.
Yeah, no, that's...
And on one hand, I do understand his position because he's still in high school and he's working with a limited budget type thing.
Yeah,
but
sure, but it's like everyone else showed up and spent their money.
Yes, I am aware. I understand it somewhat.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I understand that it's like, yeah, he wants to get into it, and
he wants to play.
Yeah, it's like I get it, but you know, if like you show up to a street race with your bicycle,
yes.
Well, I want to get into street racing too, guys. It's like, well, got to show up with a fast car.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just the rules.
I mean, if you want to throw money on a street race with your bike against my car, by all means, we can do that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind for Warhammer, it is the enjoyment of you playing against the other person. If the models are not correct, then there is problems because the line of sight is not correct. The base size is not correct. You can't shoot.
Well, it's not only that, it's also just like playing the faith game of like, yeah, trust me, bro, these are blank.
Honestly, if he's really that hard up for, because Warhammer is prohibitively expensive.
Yes.
I would just. Does your store have a problem with someone bringing in proxies for anything that's not official tournament stuff?
So, our people specifically, do not care that much about it. If you go to any of the other stores around when they're doing tournaments, they do have a problem with it.
Yeah. So
And he is asking for borrow hammer stuff, as it's called, whenever possible.
that's good, but like honestly, I would take him aside, explain to him the street rules of like, listen, we're fine with proxies here. Don't take this anywhere else.
He only
And
goes to us.
just show him some Etsy stores that make really good proxies that are
Yeah.
the correct size for the table. Because
Yeah.
you can get Etsy proxies fully printed. So no assembly required unless you get some of the more intricate, larger ones, and just put them on the table, and they're literally a quarter of the cost, like on average of whatever their equivalent in Warhammer is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to build guard tank, going to Etsy, great. Like as long as you're not
Yes.
trying to go to a real tournament, Etsy's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
And by
you
real
can get an
tournament,
easy proxy
it's
for, like,
GW
$20.
mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that's not GW, you will typically find they are a lot more lenient on various things.
Yeah.
There are limits, of course, but as long as it looks like what you are telling the other person that it is, and you're not going, this is a deathcore guy, and it's obviously a catacomb model. Oh,
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of models, can one of the Warhammer crackheads send me
what you need.
the link to the tabletop sim Warhammer
Man,
Discord?
Now
Oh,
I
yeah.
Because
kind of
I have a friend who said the only reason he doesn't play is because it's expensive, and the new guy was like, I heard that GW nukes tabletop sim. I was like, no, they can't touch it. Too many people have it. Tabletop sim is open source as you can get
yeah.
for
There you go,
modding.
Max.
Yeah, I just sent it to Max.
What I would like to do one day when I have the money, time, and shits to give would be to acquire an entire Imperial army of orcs.
Wait, I will keep this pocketed and bring it up with them.
And what I mean by that is obviously it's orcs. It's a bunch of orc models, but they're all wearing Imperial gear for whatever
Great.
unit class
Show
they're
him the
supposed to
grots.
be.
The grots! Yes!
With like
I'm getting 'em.
obviously looted Lehman Russes
Oh,
and
no.
like
Wait.
I promise
Wait,
you.
Sneaky.
There's a madman who's coming to the narrative who has already fulfilled your wish.
oh my
Right.
god, yes.
Where the fuck is it?
Is there a way
For
me
the
to see when
Emperor!
Is there a way?
Oh, it's even stupid.
Oh,
Walk!
much better. Is there a way for me to see when I joined a server?
Yeah, scroll to the top.
Click your. Yeah. Oh. Actually,
Where
can't
are
click on your
you,
name as
Grot
well?
Krieg?
Yeah, you can also
No.
click on your name, yeah.
Yeah, you can click your name and then click on whatever your nickname in the server is, and it brings up another window.
Okay.
It'll give you 2 dates, your actual Discord join date and then your server join date. So like for example, if I click on Atin and click it again, Atin joined this Discord August 17th of 2017.
I'm just looking to grab this so that I can like tell your friends that because like I've been in that the
There we are.
TPS Discord for quite a while.
Fuck. It's too big. Had to do this the hard way.
Yes, that one. Yes, that one, Aura, thank you. Precisely.
Here you go.
Nani?
You got to show it on screen on stream.
Yeah, sure,
Like,
I'll open it up.
It's fantastic.
And then
Oh, yeah.
the Evergrot.
Oh my god.
I hope I fight
That's
this
an
man so that I can kill him.
He's in the UK.
Damn it.
I love the conversion using the Dreadnought parts.
Everything that man did is fantastic.
Oh, good. We even have Commissar Goblins.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
Yes.
Oh,
The whole
God.
thing is just amazing.
That big thing in the back, that's a night proxy.
I wasn't sure if that was a night proxy or not. I was really hoping it was.
It is.
It's a night proxy.
Amazing.
And the things next to it are arbiters.
Okay, that was my
yep.
next guess, but I wasn't sure because armatures aren't really shaped like a trash can.
Thing is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Wow, that is a lot. I mean, well, what he did was he took the normal death cans and then put the Imperial weapons on them.
Well, he did a lot more than that, conversion-wise.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot to go into it, but
Oh,
suffice to
I know,
say,
I know. Obviously, yeah. I'm very heavily simplifying it.
suffice to
the
say, he did a lot on that. I think there's a
I
goblin in
I
enough.
appreciate that he even has this stupid
So-
little
Wait a
termite
minute.
What are
drill.
the trolls? Are they Space Marines?
Those
They're
are
supposed to be Bulgrin.
Ogren, okay.
Huh.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
it's a
finally-
Cyclops!
Yeah.
It's a
So
little boy!
yeah, I saw the Cyclops. I love it. So I finally found my name on the TTS server. I clicked on it. It's not telling me when I joined it, which is
Oh,
odd.
click it again. Click your name. It brings up a little menu with your name and all that, and then click it again, and you get a new window.
No, okay. I'm clicking it, and I've got the thing where I can edit profile, add status. I can add a note. I can click my name. Aha! Finally, yeah.
That's pretty clever.
July 21st, 2022. This thing's been open for a minimum for. I've been in it for 2 years, and I know for a fact it's been open longer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
The
It's been
tabletop sim mod
around.
is probably the only thing GW will never.
God,
be
that
able
is
to
so much
touch.
effort they put into this.
and
Yeah.
here's the thing: it looks amazing.
Yeah. There's also
For the Emperor!
and this is just one of the 3 sides in this entire thing. King. Atin's in a entirely different group.
Oh yeah.
That's full of Imperial homeboys and all that. There's
I'm sorry. One of the Bulgrin proxies is flipping the bird.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
The whole thing is
It-
just fantastic.
That
It-
alone took him some time because that's difficult changing hand gestures like that.
yeah.
That's
Also,
Anyway,
the fact that he had to model every single grot. There's an orc strapped to one of the shields.
so yeah, I saw that. So how exactly did he go about doing that? Did he ever detail it? Did he like print out each model? Did he resin cast them all?
No,
Like,
so the
So-
vast majority of these items are normal Games Workshop models
right.
that have had some alterations made for like
So
so like the troop carrier in the right. So if you look roughly in the center, in the middle of the groups of Bulgrin, right? This is just something I can easily give an example of. That is the standard Chimera chassis. He's slightly he's cut part of the sides off of it so you can see the treads more easily, and he put a grot tank turret on the top instead of the normal Chimera turret, but the rest and then he bolted on like the boilers and stuff. That looks to be like it's melt-a-gun parts that he stuck to the side, but it's by and large a normal Astra Militarum Chimera with a little bit of extra patched onto it. Or like just to the right of it is a Lehman Russ. He added a little bit of flair to it. Like don't get me wrong, there's 100% some custom decorations on there, but for the most part, that is a normal Lehman Russ kit.
Mm.
then
Okay.
you go down to the goblins' hands down below. Those guys are Tempesters. You can tell because one of the goblins has a beret.
Yep.
Those guys.
That's a lot more custom.
That is a lot more custom. He did that basically in 2 ways for every single one. That's a fucking Baby Yoda in there. God
Yeah,
damn it.
where.
Yep.
At the very bottom in between the Bulgrins. So, anyway, he He went through this by
Oh, I
doing
see
two
it.
things. He went to the Warhammer Fantasy side and
Yeah.
got the Grot clans and stuff. And he basically got the parts, got the stuff from the AM side, and then just painstakingly, probably hours of work for each single one, and glued and stuff, solid stuff together.
Yeah. And
Especially
some
the
of the
case for the Bulgren.
well, no, like the Bulgren don't have like they have a lot done to them, but a lot of it's not custom work, right? Like the shields are just default troll equipment or just default Bulgren equipment. The maces uh they look to just be the normal Bulgren mace. Like all the scrap armor, that's custom put on there, but I'm pretty sure he took that from Mega Knobs. So like a standard part just put on in a non-standard fashion. And like again, like there's been stuff added onto them, but for the most part, it's all standard equipment. Um, like he's got
So,
a drill thing. That drill has barely been modified. Beautifully painted, barely been modified, and that's completely fine.
I appreciate the Tau looting that occurred in the
yeah.
far right of the picture.
Yeah, the drones.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
wearing
yeah, yeah.
Tau helmets and shit. Like, oh man, this must take this guy at minimum a year to do all this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Especially just looking at the tanks. Tanks on some of them. You
Yeah.
have the Baneblade with the cannon in the middle. Oh, with multiple grots going everywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
like that stuff is absurdly custom. But like if you look over on like the upper left, um he took a normal, and I say this in no way to diminish the amount of fucking effort this man put in, right? That is basically just the normal Manticore chassis, and then he just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take as many like extra little bombs and stuff as I can, bolt them on, dirty up the rockets with like scrap metal and gouge them, and that's done." Like
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
He probably has Gonskos somewhere in here.
they're on the upper right in the bunker. Or no, wait, no, those must be ratlings.
Those are ratlings, yeah.
Yeah, those are ratlings. But yeah, like absolutely absurd amount of work.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just using standard Games Workshop parts in creative ways, and that involve a lot of surgery.
Yeah. That's the basics of kit bashing in a nutshell. You have the big projects like I think the Red Gobbo, as his knight is called. Oh. And you can see a whole lot of stuff went into that on the arms and such, the flag, and the headpiece. Not much else went into that. And on
Yeah,
basic
he's
stuff,
sneaky.
like the armatures, as you mentioned, it's pretty much an armature just with a kilocan and cockpit. That's the word. But then you have stuff like the tanks, the Chimera, where it's okay. You put a gun turret on there, and again, not diminishing anything, but some things are much more heavily kit bashed than others.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good balance to take when you're kind of doing that, because if you kit bash everything super hard, then it kind of just doesn't keep the
And it also depends
flavor.
on what you're trying to accomplish with the kit bash in general.
Yeah.
Oh, like for orcs, they can take a busted up, looted wagon. That used to be a thing that they could just get a random vehicle as a looted variant, and it was slightly worse, but they could have it.
Right.
Which hilarious.
And specifically, you could see in the Dawn of War, it was just a Lehman Russ.
Yeah.
Yes. So all you have to do is put a bit of scrap onto it, and put a little bit more DOC on it, and suddenly, there you go, you got an orc. And that's what they did with the Manticore. That's what they did with a couple other things. That's a Rhino chassis for a Bassi. That one's actually some extra work.
That one is more extra work, right? I use the Manticore as an example of something that didn't have a lot of extra work put into it, but the stuff that did, and this is like, it sounds silly to say this, right?
I feel like that's just... So I'm looking at Warhammer fanfics, and it's just Red Snow. Defeat is an ugly thing to endure, yet in the face of dishonor, the bonds of brotherhood remain unbreakable. Featuring Chaos Space Marines and normal Space Marines. I kind of feel like... God fucking damn it.
He's a bush.
Also,
He's a bush.
God fucking damn it, Gray. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
He did a fucking lot.
Those are so fucking cursed. I love them, but god damn it.
But yeah, right. So there's a lot you can. There's a lot that you can do with the basic stuff.
I'd be surprised what you can accomplish with 2 kits and a little bit of putty.
And
that's
some
fair.
people are not very good at it. I once tried to do some creative surgery to make Tempestus Scion plasma guns easier. It didn't go well. My surgery was not good.
The surgery failed. The patient didn't survive.
I think I fixed one of the surgeries.
You did.
I made it work.
You did, but that's because you're way good. You're way better at this.
You're way gooder.
So
you're way better at this than I am.
The problem is that Atin wanted to. Atin, understandably so, found some Space Marine plasma guns that were cheaper. But Space Marine plasma guns are very different compared to Tempestus Scion plasma guns. They're a little bit bigger, and because of the way GW does their molding, one of those Scions is now running around with a Space Marine gauntlet, holding a Space Marine plasma gun.
Yep.
I see.
I personally like to think of it as some creative appropriation of war gear.
He may or may not be getting a visit from a Space Marine chapter in the future. Who knows?
Well, and like some of the stuff, like for instance, Max, just offhand, how easy do you think it would be to swap parts between the Aquilons and the Scions?
I mean, at a glance, it should be insanely easy.
Yeah, right. Sometimes
they
make
followed a lot of the
kits
same. They followed roughly the same mold, the same like mold rules, I'll call them, that they did with Scions.
Yeah. So sometimes they make stuff pretty easy to do. Like I imagine I could get the plasma gun, the plasma pistol, to fit on the Aquilon Tempester with pretty much no issue.
Yeah, probably. Because they're scaled the same.
But yeah, and there's a lot you can do even when parts aren't necessarily the same scale. Like, most of the Imperial Guard stuff that the Grots have is slightly too large for them. But you can make it work, and it looks fine.
I found God's Ghost.
Oh, where the hell are
this
they?
is sure to make
Oh, he used the red gobbo.
I'm sure this is sure to make Atin very interested and excited for this story. Okay, let's read this one.
Uh-oh.
Tana ain't delicate. I just wanted to go home. I hadn't even made it to my truck before in a blink of an eye I'm not where I'm supposed to be, and some crazy dude with a third arm is swinging an axe at my face. A 40K self-insert following the adventures of Caiaphas Cain and Amberly Vale. Mixture of crack and plot. An adventure humor story.
Okay, look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Gaunt's Ghost is high humor or fantastic writing, but it's a very specific kind of dry British humor and exaggeration.
You mean Caiaphas Cain?
Caiaphas Cain.
I understand Gaunt's Gobbos are on the mind.
Yes, Gaunt's Gobbos are on the mind. Gaunt's Ghosts are a little bit more, are a little bit higher level of writing, but that's just because Dan Abnett's pretty good.
Keep in mind, whenever dealing with any form of GW writing, that it's mostly going to be British.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's
yeah.
going to be different from what we're used to as Americans or people that are used to American literature and franchises.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So like Gaunt's Ghost, god damn it. The Caiaphas Cain stuff takes very heavily from shows like Blackadder and Monty Python, right? Where there's two things in there, right? Cain is an unreliable narrator, constantly calling himself a coward and etc., etc., despite throwing himself repeatedly into situations that would require absolute bravery and pretending that it's self-serving. Like, oh, well, my reputation as a hero demands that I go and help these people, right? When he could very easily have done nothing and no one would think any less of him. But in addition to that, the events of the universe are set out for Cain to fail in an upwards fashion, right? And all of that combines together to make a set of humor, to make some humorous circumstances, while also giving you a character who gives a shit about the people around him, which is a rarity in 40K, which is why people like Cain, because he shows you a different kind of commissaring other than Yerrick, right? In the Yerrick books, Yerrick will frequently execute people or threaten to execute people.
Right.
Cain has, I think, in the books, only ever executed, I think, 2 soldiers. It might even just be 1. But they had literally just put down a gene stealer outbreak, and someone was in a tunnel. They got swarmed. They're like, I don't even know how I made it out alive. And Gaunt has the Medicaid check them over. Sure enough, there's some puncture wounds, so Gaunt blams them.
Right.
Because they're a gene stealer now. But other than that, right? He's like, Cain regularly expresses displeasure and dissatisfaction with commissars who can only get people to do what they want by threatening to whip them. He's like, that is how you end up as a friendly fire casualty.
Sure.
So that's why people like his stuff. And I don't trust this idiot on the internet to even remotely get it correct.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense to me. I mean, it's I just don't really think there's too many people out there that are going to be able to write humor into Warhammer. Warhammer tends to be a very dour. Even Old World tends to be very dour in terms of overall portrayal.
Gotrek and Felix is a great set of books. Gotrek and Felix is not a happy set of books.
Well, I was about to say, like, yeah, like they go on great adventures and slay mighty creatures, but also it's like, The underpinning plot is that Gotrek is trying to die.
Gotrek is trying to die. Felix is stuck trying to witness him die. Felix goes through what? 4 girlfriends, Gray? And every single one of them dies horribly?
I have not read the books. I just know of them.
There's the chick in The Border Princes.
I know there's at
There's
least
some
3
chick
that
who
have
gets
died.
murdered by the Skaven. There's Ulrika, who gets turned into a vampire. And then there's Kat, who gets murdered in the end time. Oh, yeah, by the way spoilers for a very old book series, and spoilers for the end times. The books literally end with Gotrek walking into a chaos portal as the world ends and a temple to Grimnir collapses around them. And the book ends with Felix trapped under rubble as the world is ending, suffocating to death, and he has a candle and he is desperately trying to finish Gotrek's story so that at least he doesn't let one person down.
That's kind of rough. Damn.
Yeah.
And Gotrek doesn't even get to die because Grimnir tricked him into taking his place and killing demons in the warp so that Grimnir could show up to try to stop the end times, and he fails. Gotrek then eventually shows up very, very pissed off in the mortal realms. Gotrek made it to Sigmar, and his goal is to kill every god.
Fair, I suppose.
Yeah.
His goal is to kill Sigmar because Sigmar's a bitch, in Gotrek's own words. He wants to kill Grimnir because Grimnir fucking lied to me. He wants to kill all the elves because elves. He wants to kill
Fair.
Archeon for killing the dwarves, Felix, and his home. And he wants to kill Marathi because Marathi, and he wants to kill the rest of
Fair.
them just on general principles. The
Fair.
only one he doesn't want to kill is Alariel. That's probably the only one he doesn't want to kill.
Isn't that the nature one?
Yes.
That's the nature one.
Yeah.
He really wants to kill Teclis.
Which is fair.
Fair. Yeah, that's kind of fair, yeah.
Teclis.
You know, it's kind of funny because my brain always hears Teclis and always immediately calls him Feckless.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's read. So this is a massive fucking chapter, just to be clear. We got like 8K words here, so I'm not gonna read the entire chapter, but well, we're gonna dip our toe in this, and these author notes are not giving me confidence.
Oh no.
Hello, Vamp. Hello, LeMay. Sorry you guys got caught up in our ranting about Warhammer before we even get into the Warhammer story itself, but it's kind of just the nature of Warhammer.
Welcome to Warhammer, where everything is bad. Because people don't know what's going on.
And every faction is a week-long wiki dive.
Yes.
At the best.
So
every faction
anyway,
is a week-long wiki dive, and every time you find something, you go, "Wait, what the fuck?"
And then
yeah,
have to
I
continue
have been
the
playing
wiki dive.
around with the idea of a self-insert in 40K for a while, but I wasn't sure what setting to use. The fuck does that mean? Please forgive out-of-character moments because I've changed their personality for plot purposes.
Already, we could tell this is going to go great.
This is a great mini lesson time. If the character's personality is changed in the fan fiction, it should be because of the plot, not
not for the plot. Yeah.
Like, let's take Caiaphas Cain, which was just gone into decent detail about. Let's say he becomes an asshole. It should be because something that you wrote in your fan fiction changed a key moment in his life that set him down a different path.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be an asshole just because it furthers your plot. He should be an asshole because the plot changed his past.
It'd be very, very easy to make Kane an asshole. There's plenty of times when you could have things go just a little bit wrong or kill certain characters, and I can very easily see Kane end up a drunk, bitter asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very easy to do.
He's not already that.
No, he is not, in fact, a drunkard of any kind. He does like his drink,
Oh.
but he is not a drunk.
I
Huh.
hope you enjoy and offer me good criticisms. Edit
Mm.
1. I have
Uh-oh.
fixed the formatting to address the wall of text.
Oh God.
Yeah, hey. He was smart enough to do it.
My first experience in grim darkness of 41st Millennium was chaos cultists swinging an axe at my face. I barely managed to duck my head out of the way. Moments before, I was simply walking to my truck to head home after work, then bam, bright gold light.
Okay,
Crazed
I'm sorry.
bald
take a second
person.
here. You may have fixed wall of text, author. You have not fixed your sentence
Narrative? Yeah. Bright gold light. Crazed bald person with extra arms swinging axe at my face from outside South Texas sun, suddenly subterranean. I plant my boot into said cultist's chest, knocking him onto his back as I scrambled.
Did you like the story, Sneaky?
Oh, no, let me do that. Let me just drop that bitch right here. No! Wildbow dropped another essay? Fuck.
No.
Oh no, what now?
All right,
Please,
we'll go into
no.
this later.
Not,
Yep.
not tonight.
Yep, tonight.
Oh.
See,
We'll just mute Phoenix for 2 months.
Mr. President, another essay has hit the internet.
Oh God.
No.
how he was influenced by suburban Canadian politics.
Oh boy, well, link that one as well, might as well.
What?
Always loved me some
influence-
Wildbow essays.
Wait,
Max, you might want to
suburban
extend that mute
Canadian.
to a year.
We'll make that. Nah, we'll make that 2 years.
Perfect.
Oof.
So, I do want to mention that someone recently made Chibi Hollow EN Myth using JavaScript and animating them to be desktop companions.
Oh, the
So-
Shimeji stuff that just dropped.
Yeah, I now have stupid little stinky Gura here crawling on the side of my fucking screen up the border.
It's not being captured.
Oh, I know it's not being captured. I never specified it to be captured.
Yeah.
Shimeji's
Shimejis are pretty neat little concepts. I just so the Google Drive did not infest your computer with something awful then.
No, it did not. No.
Great. I'm glad I kept that video tabbed. I'll just go grab that now. As
Yeah.
soon as I figure out which tab it was left
But yeah, so I just have Gura just wandering around my screen now occasionally, and occasionally, if you ever hear me go, "What are you doing, stupid?" That's because the Gura model has decided to do something very weird.
Weirder than normal, anyway.
Very Gura.
Apparently, sometimes she'll just eat your cursor, so be careful of that.
So far she hasn't. I
Look
don't
at
know if
that.
that's because I didn't like there's an updated version out there that I didn't grab or something, but the version I currently have, she does not eat my cursor. She tries, but fails because I have 3 screens. And usually ends
Ooh.
up launching herself into another screen when she tries to eat my cursor.
Maybe that's the intended
that is
behavior
hilarious.
for it.
Hence, me
I-
occasionally
I-
going, "What the fuck are you doing, stupid?"
Yeah, I appreciate the creator of the mods video. Or like, Gura eats your cursor, Callie does a cool thing with Scythe, Kiara does whatever this is I made her do. It's like, You made it. What do you mean, whatever?
Whatever this is. Who's Hollow
Yeah,
Myth?
Shimeiji's,
Gen 1 of VTubers for the Japanese company cover. The first English generation. Anyway, my hand darting under my suit jacket, drawing out my pistol. Of course, Texan, armed. Oh yes, I was, still am, gunsmith. How convenient. I worked at gun store and carried firearm most days. In this instance of trans-dimensional fuckery, I was carrying the FNX-45, a 15-round hand cannon loaded with hollow points. It's not a hand cannon. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just using a. Is that the FN fucking loaded with 45 rounds?
I'm sure it is.
Hang on.
Okay, look. First of all, you have clearly never been around an actual fucking gun in your life, because nobody calls it a hand cannon.
No, there are hand cannons. That is a classification.
Yes.
This is not one.
Hand cannons. Like,
yes, but that's my point.
Yeah, this is trash.
There are hand cannons. Such a thing exists. It is a classification. People don't call them that unless it specifically is one, because it's a thing. I would say.
Yeah, it's 45 ACP FN. Yeah, that's what I expected. Yeah.
Also, fucking walking around with hollow points.
No, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Aren't they? I thought they were restricted
Yes.
in the U.S. because they shatter.
Nope.
Because of the way they
No, actually,
No.
they are specifically not
No.
restricted in the U.S. because
they are.
they're actually preferred by the police for you to use hollow points because they don't overpenetrate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know they're not restricted because some of the people I've talked to talk about how they like to modify their hollow points. For example, a comic shop owner
Yeah.
confided me that sometimes he would fill salt in there and then cap it off with a little bit of wax to lock it in. Like, oh, okay.
Calm down, Satan.
Calm down there, Satan.
He was like, yeah, I'm ready for anyone that ever tries something in my home. It's like, yeah, it sounds like it. They're going to learn a very important lesson if they survive.
Well, yes, there is also the legendary rip round, which is someone
Yes.
looked at a hollow point and said, "What if it just fucked you up?"
Oh.
Hollow points already do that enough.
Yeah, except these are designed
word.
with the idea that when they impact you, they shatter inside you and instead create 9 wound channels.
That is terrifying.
God.
That is honestly terrifying.
But also, because of the
think-
coring on it, it actually can go through sheet metal and sheetrock.
You
That is
know,
terrifying.
I appreciate that he looked at the hollow point and said, you know what, I know this fucks you up, but it doesn't fuck you up enough. I want
It
you
doesn't-
to really learn your lesson.
I want you to not exist. I want you to perish in the most painful manner possible after being shot.
Yes.
You will regret living.
And you will live. I made sure of that.
Oh no, you will not live. You get shot by one of these, there's not stitching up, there's no holding this wound. You are fucked.
They can't.
It's not
they
even
can't fix
no.
that.
The wound's not the problem. It's the massive internal organ damage that this causes over what a hollow point would.
Oh,
normally do.
Jesus,
Like,
I just
Yes.
hollow points can sometimes. Okay, hollow
that's
points
a war
can
crime.
sometimes
That's a war
splinter.
criminator.
This is someone who said, "But I want it to always splinter."
Yeah, this guy came out and was like, you know what? Hollow points aren't enough.
Where's that?
Fucking-
What was that one VTuber? I want to keep killing. I want to keep killing.
R.I.P.
That's Bibu, yeah.
Defeat
I
him.
want to shoot him! I haven't killed enough people!
Of fucking course someone who wants to pierce winter clothing is committing a war crime. Of course, it's probably Russia. I bet it's Russia this time.
What? No, it's always Canada.
Oh yeah, good point, it's Canada.
He's either Canada or America.
Can I be
always
less
Canada.
annoying when I talk? No, sadly, God made me this way. I'm here to assault your ears with voice.
Who's
Who
asking
asked
that?
you to be less annoying?
Billionaire to Fugo in the
No.
YouTube
Yeah,
chat.
I got bad news for you. No, he
Oh.
cannot be less annoying.
Gamer, half of this chat is just us talking.
In
over
fact,
each other
this is
about
me at my least annoying.
You should hear him drunk.
That's not true.
Um,
Your least annoying is when you don't open your mouth.
But that's fair.
That's fair.
You say
But he
that's
asked
rare,
but he asked if I could talk less annoying. So that's what I was referring to.
Oh.
Yeah. This is my
That's not
minimum
happening.
annoying level. Yeah, no, I
That's
get
not
way
happening.
worse. Yeah. But no, yeah, it was funny enough that there was a period of time where I just didn't talk. Like, Max literally had to coax me into talking to him. Because, like, I would go for days without ever speaking.
Yeah. Literally, I would be busy for a week doing something, call Sneak up on Friday, be like, hey man, what's going on? And he would have to clear his throat and have some water before he could speak properly. Oh, I'm so glad you found a short. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that this
Yeah, that's a
exists
rip.
for physical representation. Oh, I didn't like that pattern. That pattern scares me.
And here's you the comparison for 9mm hollow point versus regular.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Wow.
home intruders get fucked. Ambulance here, we called hers.
Yeah, there will not be an ambulance called.
They
Yeah.
just call the coroner directly.
Yeah, like I remember that being a thing covered in a class once in high school when you know, teachers could
You sound
still
fine,
do
Sneaky.
fun lessons. Where they talked about one of the reasons that hollow points were so troublesome is because they could sometimes splinter off like the rip around us. I don't like that someone looked at that and said, I don't like the 30% chance. Let's make it 100%.
Excuse me, this is a feature, not a bug.
Yes. Now, of course, it's not going to do anything against, you know, plates, but...
Oh, well, that's what the
against
rifle
an army
round is
target.
for.
Yes.
Also,
Are those
Sign,
level
my
4
personal
plates?
favorite version of the hand cannon is the version used by Harry Dresden, which is the Smith & Wesson, where they just fires 50s.
The
Yes.
Smith & Wesson
Is there
Oh,
with the
speaking of which, have you guys
Legal
seen the brand newest 500 Winchester round?
Oh,
I'm sorry, the what?
no.
What have my
No.
distant ancestors wrought now?
Yeah, they've now created the world's strongest 500 round for the
Nice.
hand cannon. And their comments are fucking hilarious. Let me see if I can't grab that video. I'll drop it in the chat. Let's see here. Where was it? What fucking section was it even posted in? Probably the gun section. Yeah, here it is. Sorry, it was the 500 Bushwhacker. You can tell it's gonna be a good time with a
the
face like that.
God, I hate when it comes time to link something to do with Hollow Myth. So I always feel torn. Do I post it in Western Gas? I post it in Weeb Garbage. It's so hard to choose sometimes. I'll just
Also,
drop
yeah,
in
that's a
Weeb.
classic skit. Is that legal? Are those level 4 plates?
All right, at Jin's request, it's been linked.
All right.
Also,
Anyway,
Sign, that's not quite the one I was thinking of. This is the one that.
Why is it called the Bushwhack? God.
oh well, cause you know.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, those are
God.
hand cannons. Yeah, those are hand cannons.
What is that muzzle brake on the end of the revolver? I'm supposed to have those.
Literally the one exception to 9mm actually doing something.
What the actual
That's
fuck?
a
I'm watching it now.
500
No, I was.
Smith and
Oh,
Wesson
fucking.
revolver.
Yeah,
Dude,
the
the
500
tab literally
Smith &
just
Wesson.
loaded for me. I didn't see that shit.
Anyway.
It's this. Oh, it's this one. I've seen this one.
So, this man is carrying a FN chambered in .45. So, okay, he calls it a hand cannon. It's not. All right, and it's loaded with hollow points. Scary. Of course, at this time, I did not know exactly where I was, so I did not pull the trigger. Instead, I kept the red dot sight trained on the cultist's chest. Well, first off, if you don't know where you are, you've already failed. If you are in the US still, and someone is coming at you with an axe, and you have pulled out your gun, but you did not fire upon them, you are now being arrested for an escalation of force, because you did not feel that your life was threatened, because you did not fire the gun.
Yeah, no, if you draw that weapon, you are basically legally obligated to fire. Well,
Quite
in
literally,
your
it's
case,
samurai
hang on.
law going on in the US. If you draw the
Yeah.
gun and do not shoot them with the gun, you are escalating. You have not blooded the weapon.
Honor yourself immediately.
Well, you're about to be honored in
there's
jail.
An exception. So if I pull my weapon and I've got it pointed at the ground and held at my side, it's okay if that person is not rushing me or something along those lines. Also, there are states.
Yeah,
that
I
do
mean pointing
require
at.
you
I mean
to-
pointing it at them. Yeah.
Yeah, if you point it at them, that's when you have to fire. But no, there are also states where if you draw and point it at them, you are still legally obligated. It's duty to retreat states where you have to
Oh,
try
well,
and
fuck
back up,
those
try and
states.
retreat, give a warning. There's like one where you have to give 3 fucking verbal warnings. Like, back up, I will fire. I'm going to fire if you don't back up, and then you get to fire. Which is some fucking
It depends on the state, really. There's a lot of states with a lot of varying laws. Like, the most liberal laws, we're talking about, like, Vermont and Texas, where it's like, you can just pull the gun out and blast people.
Yeah, Texas is don't try it. If he draws, you're pretty much dead.
Given that
In
it's Texas, I
places
imagine it's
like
gonna be fucking
New
next.
Jersey, on the other
Hopefully,
hand,
okay.
have laws of duty to retreat, where it's like, you're supposed to evacuate your house before you're even allowed to legally defend yourself.
Pass the
Nah,
doctrine
bro.
all the way.
I'm not letting him steal my shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, anyone that's chosen to steal something from me has decided that that my stuff is worth more than their life, and I will treat that appropriately.
Yeah.
But
No, keep in mind, you don't know if they're there to steal your stuff. They could be there to hurt you.
Well,
It doesn't matter for some states.
That triangle.
And those states are states I will not live in.
that's why you hit them with that triangle bayonet, is what you're trying to say?
I was gonna say that, and then I was like, I should let you finish
You
your thought.
know, I think I'd stick with the spiral push dagger because that still hasn't been outlawed yet. I don't think.
It's been outlawed in a couple states.
Oh yeah, it's been outlawed.
It's outlawed in a few.
I don't
All those
think
states
that
don't
muskets
matter
are
then.
banned.
Like,
If you kill the burglar, who's gonna tell the cops you didn't warn him? Exactly. You see, when you defeat your enemy, you are the only one that is capable of telling the story of what happened.
You get to write the history there, unless they're unarmed or something. Even then, it's well, you see, officer, he's a big old boy. He was hopped up on something. He was
See,
charging me.
actually, what
was
the
in
real
for my
Mega
life.
Mind play is to do is after you kill the home intruder, you strip them naked,
I'm thinking maybe we
and then
should
tell the
stop
police that they broke into your home naked.
So, gentlemen,
Mm,
the
depends on
reason
where you
I
live.
was temporarily gone
The camera system, shalom.
because an old friend of
Yes.
my brother's came to visit. So the man's name, his name is literally Justice.
Well,
His
okay,
name-
fair
his
enough.
parents did in fact name him Justice.
Alright.
He is a preacher. He was
Okay,
originally
that's fitting.
he was originally a prison minister,
Also
Okay.
fitting,
uh,
I suppose.
and he is now down in Memphis, Tennessee. and he is attempting to help another pastor make the area better and safer and more in touch with God. But
Does he do this with a gun?
yes, both
Oh.
of them are strapped
Vigilante.
because it's Memphis,
Yep, all
Of
right
course,
then.
yes.
which is somehow
Perfectly
even
understandable.
more lawless than Chicago.
Amazing.
Yes.
Truly impressive. A man named Justice went down to Memphis with a big iron on his hip.
Yes.
God damn it.
Nice.
He's also a giant comic book and cosplay nerd.
Well, there you go.
Oh no.
That tracks weirdly enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic gentleman. Salt of the
Okay.
earth.
Quick
Anyway,
aside,
so stay
they talked
down
about
or I
some
will
wacky
shoot, I
ballistics.
snarled out. I don't believe the cultists understood me because at this time... Oh, yeah, I accidentally hit the, with my arm. There we go, we should be back
there
up.
went.
Yep. We should be,
Did it-
should be back.
Accidentally.
Did it only
quote,
knock
unquote.
down Twitch, or did it also knock down the?
No, it also knocked down YouTube. Yeah, we should be
Oh.
back.
Well, I guess Billion Boy got his wish.
Indeed. All
Well,
right.
anyways,
Well, now that I've killed our viewer count, let us continue.
Amazing.
As one does.
As one does, as one does. I'm just, I'm an expert at this. Don't worry.
Remember, you were leaving the bots and getting rid of the normies.
Yes, we're keeping the bots, getting rid of the people. YouTube never
This
stopped
tracks.
for me. Well, that's just amazing. Good job, YouTube.
Most competent YouTube developer.
Okay, somehow we've increased to more people than previously had. Amazing. Alright, let's keep talking about how this guy is apparently a Texas gunsmith in 40k and doesn't understand guns, or Texas, or 40k.
Or the reason you need to kill people immediately in Warhammer 40,000 universe.
Yeah, so
listen,
anyway, he
in the
immediately
universe.
identifies the guy as a cultist somehow, but then also tries to shout out commands to him after pulling a gun on him. Because the guy swung an axe at him. Anyway, so... As at this time, I had not learned a variant of Gothic yet. Okay, so he's retroactively telling the story.
He's
Okay.
retroactively telling the story, which is
Uh.
in line with some of the Kane stuff.
He got back... Well, also, isn't Low Gothic literally just, like, mangled English?
No. So it's presented as English for the ease of use of people reading it. It's like
No, because I mean, like, High Gothic is like a mix of Latin and Greek and German or some shit.
No, again, that's all stuff that's done to help readers. Like, it's not actually what those things canonically sound like. They've said
okay.
this multiple times. So
Okay, so it's just a narrative representation.
yes, it is a
High
narrative.
Convenience.
High Gothic is the common language that was
Low
used up in the big
Oh.
hierarchies. Low
Yeah,
Gothic is the common everyman spoken written
Yeah.
language. It gestalted from everything, apparently.
Okay.
Is the
So
basic
you
way to
have
put it.
some English in there, but like
You have some English, you have some French, unfortunately. You have Japanese, you have Chinese.
See,
you
like,
have-
that's the thing, right?
German.
Like, So, like,
Yada,
I know
yada.
a lot of these sci-fi stories try and be like, oh, yeah, well, you know, it became a mash of English and Chinese. It's like, my issue with these stories where they try and be like, oh, yeah, we're in the future. How do you know? Well, all of the languages have melded together. It's like, A, that's literally what English is. B, you can't mash Russian, Chinese, and English together
Yes.
without modifying two of those languages to match the other one, because they all have a different language base, and if you don't modify them to be unified, how the fuck are you supposed to teach it? You're supposed to teach 7 different alphabets? No one's gonna fucking learn that shit.
Keep in mind as
Well,
well,
that's
this
why I
was
think-
way back in the 1980s, 1990s
No,
that they made this.
no, like, don't get me wrong, I'm aware. I'm just saying a lot of sci-fi does this. Firefly
Yes.
did it, for example, where they're like, "Oh yeah,
No,
because of
hang
the
on.
high population of Chinese people in the future, English and Chinese mashed together to form Chinglish, and people
No,
speak half Mandarin
actually-
and half English."
No, that's not what happened. I was actually about to comment on that. Firefly did it well, where they go, okay, look, most of the people that evacuated Old Earth and moved over here were either English speaking or Chinese speaking. And because of that, they learn those two languages in whole in universe. So most people speak English as their common language, but then you get people who will also speak Chinese, and occasionally you get Chinese bits and pieces thrown in whole, like
Right.
entire
Okay.
statements thrown in, but it's not a mixture. It's not Chinglish. It is
Okay.
separately Chinese and English taught separately. Like in the core worlds, when they show River and Simon learning as children, they're showing them being taught both at the same time.
All right, that's more fair. I mean, it obviously learning 3 languages at the same time is possible because, you know, the Japanese and Chinese do it. The
Well, and remember,
Koreans don't
the
learn
younger
languages.
a child starts learning a language, the more likely they are to.
Right,
Right, it's
but
easier
my
for
my
children to
point
learn
is
Yeah.
more the practicality of it. You know, if you have a language dedicated to specifically, you know, formal speaking, like the Japanese do and the Chinese do, then that's more understandable. Because specifically due to the base roots of the language of being more interpretive. So it would make sense if there was literally just a language of I'm just being formal right now. Like that would just
This
make
is your
that just
common
makes
speech,
sense.
and this is your formal speech.
Yeah. So that makes sense, right? But like with English, English is literally a trade language. The British made it that way. We loot other languages for words and then Englishify them. Sometimes, and
colonize
sometimes
other
we don't.
languages.
Yeah. But point being though, is that English wouldn't like merge with Spanish. It would just be English with more Spanish words in it. But the thing is that there's no reason to use, say, La Chica instead of woman, unless you're specifically of Mexican heritage or Spanish heritage, where that's just easier for you to think about because you learned Spanish first. So, this vague future where like random mishmashes of other languages are inserted into English, as they typically use in these various sci-fi, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because La Chica doesn't follow any of the rules of English. You would have to invent entirely new grammar structures to be like, okay, so these words you follow this grammar structure, but if you use these words, you have to follow this grammar structure. And then we made this add-on DLC to English to explain how to use this grammar structure inside of this grammar structure. That's a lot of fucking effort. No one did it. Like, the British didn't do it when they were taking over the goddamn world. They just said, hey, we don't have a word for that. We're going to take your word and we're just going to use it and we're going to mash it into English and it's going to use English grammar structure from now on. Fuck you.
As it should.
Fair enough.
Your word belongs to English. Do not resist.
We have seized your word. Pray we do not seize more.
We have seized your word and your cultural treasures. Pray we don't seize more.
Well,
Cyberpunk is a
mean,
more
the cultural
realistic
treasure's more of a fringe
interpretation
thing.
of certain sections of population having a certain heritage use certain words more frequently from their heritage language.
Yeah, they
but
did
they
it
still
relatively
majority
right
use
there.
English.
Yeah.
Well, and Cyberpunk also gets around it because there are people that only speak one because they grow up in an area that is a majority of
Well,
one.
and not only that, there's also language shards and translators and
Which
shit
is
like
exactly
that
what I
out
was
there.
about to say, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can learn, right? You can either have something translating Japanese for you, or you can relatively easily just put something in your head that will teach you to speak Japanese.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe not, and
Or it
sure,
basically gives you
it
subtitles.
probably sounds weird, but
Okay, so yeah, I was right. High Gothic was first developed during the Dark Age. It's derived from English, European, and Asian Pacific languages. The Asian Pacific part doesn't really make sense, but English, European mashing it all together to form a new post-Latin language makes sense.
They mean Japanese and Chinese, Sneaky.
Yes, Japanese and Chinese use a different writing base and makes no sense to be included inside of a Latinic language.
100% agree, but they said what they said.
Yes.
I know,
Said what they meant.
And my point is that I'm commenting about how stupid it is. Honestly, it makes sense if you have a high European concentration in the future in a certain area for all of the languages to slowly meld back into one unified Romance language post-Latin awakening, right? That would at
Babel.
least make sense because they all share the same root. But it wouldn't make sense for you to be like, yes, hello. The flower of the wind is very red today as it flows down the water. Huh?
yeah.
What did he mean by this?
What did Ro mean?
He's
Like-
speaking the texts.
We actually can see a real live example of this, by the way. Go look up Japanese songs. Go look up at the translations and make sure to like have the whatever website's doing it highlight the words that were already English. And it's like it is the dumbest shit ever because it's like I was down and depressed and I was, cutting myself. Happy-go-lucky feels yo. It's just
I was
like
depressed and cutting myself.
Whoa.
That's why I got anchor arms.
This is why the scanslators do it so much better on that. The fan translators, the scanslators.
No,
etc.
literally
They all do so
Japanese
much better on that.
songs. No,
Yeah.
The Japanese love including
then,
random
yes.
English words in the middle of shit they're doing. Like
Yeah,
they'll
you
be
do get the
talking
stupid shit like that.
like but they'll be talking like they'll have like a normal lyric lines, right? Whatever normal lyric lines and then something completely unrelated that just sounds cool to say in English appended to it. It means absolutely nothing, barely makes sense to even be in the lyrics at that point in time. It just
Yeah. favorite-
sounds
But it
cool to
sounded cool.
Japanese people.
My favorite is when there's an English word that actually makes perfect sense, but because of the way the Japanese language is constructed, it goes at the start of the sentence when it should be at.
Yeah, yeah, it will be like...
It'd be
Actually,
like
you
that
know
from
what's a
one-
great song for this? The fucking Naruto song. Fighting
It's one-
Dreamers.
Oh, Fighting
Oh,
Dreamers, yeah.
no. You're
Where
right.
they'll just, like, it'll be like, I'm fighting hard every day. It's like I'm, smashing my nose every day. Fighting Dreamers!
You know what? Go ahead,
It's like,
Sneaky. Let's look up the lyrics. How bad is it?
See how bad it actually is, yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, good news, Sneaky. Red Dead Redemption is coming to PC. You know, the thing
Yeah,
they said
in
could never be
4K
done?
apparently.
No,
Yeah.
nice.
And it requires
I-
more stuff than our
I-
current Red Dead Redemption 2.
Well, that's because it comes in 4K.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's just
It
funny.
was already on PC.
No,
No, never was on
no, it was
PC.
never on PC.
No?
Not officially, at least. Emulation came a long way, but still fucked up some stuff. So basically, crossing your fingers that you managed to make it past the
Okay,
opening
here we go. Here.
without it crashing.
Wait, didn't that game come out in like 2008?
Yeah, and they insisted that it
Um,
could never come to PC.
Oh yeah, here we go. Right here, right now, bang! Blast it like a rifle. Liner. Right here, right now, burn. Cut it, get fire.
What?
What
Yeah.
did he mean by this?
Did you have a stroke or
What
did
was
I?
Bro smoking?
He was smoking.
We
that
fighting
C4
dreamers, seeking for high dream. Fighting dreamers, we don't care how we behave. Without making sound, the shadow it always confusing us. The wind makes sound rise. With sharp sword, cut my tomorrow, yeah. it's like, I'm sorry.
To listen to.
Like the mashed in English just, it works sort of, like,
It really doesn't.
on a whole, observed as an outsider, it kind of works, but like, if you
It works.
actually know what they're saying, it's kind of just like, what the fuck?
It
What is
works.
bro on about?
On the other hand, some bands actually do get it right.
Oh, it's one of the reasons why I was massively impressed by Callie when she did her rapping stint, which I don't, again, why I'm really super angry that she stopped, because Callie, in my opinion, did an amazing job of doing an English and Japanese song at the same time, making the English lyrics, translated and untranslated, rhyme with the Japanese pronunciation
Mm-hmm.
and meanings.
That's because Kelly's autistic.
Yes, but my point is that she made it
It's
fucking
only-
work in, like, multiple levels.
It's not surprising that
Like,
she
she's
eventually got
autistic
into
and she gives
Warhammer.
a shit.
Imagine telling someone 5 years ago that a Warhammer shitpost video would cause someone to like start mass producing VTubers that are part of Warhammer. Imagine telling someone that.
I mean, you
No.
could probably make one of those funny domino memes where it's like
So I think someone
Yagu
already made it.
failing to create a text-to-speech program, and domino, people are virtually transporting themselves into 40K. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? How did we get here? Anyway, stay down or I will shoot. Rasping voice, speaking words I couldn't understand. So anyway, now that we've established that the author, once again, knows fucking nothing. Also, Low Gothic is a debasement of the post-Latin language that is High Gothic. So, again, as an English speaker of relative proficiency, you should generally understand the general meaning of anyone speaking Low or High Gothic. Again, it's gonna be like listening to someone from Australia drunk speaking English to you with all of the slang involved, and you're like, I understood maybe like 3 words of that, but I'm pretty sure you're referencing
they're
going out
supposed
to
to
eat
kill you.
chicken and smoking cigarettes.
And then you hear a space wolf, and you're just like, well, I just fucking give up.
I'm not sure what you said to me, but I am offended.
Yes, exactly. I'm not quite sure what you said to me, but I know enough Spanish to be offended.
Yeah.
I heard gringo.
You never
but
hear
anyway.
gringo unless it's bad.
So point being, well, I mean, gringo is quite literally the Spanish word for the hard R for black people. for
Yes.
white people. Newfie speech? What the fuck is Newfie speech?
They mean people from Newfoundland.
The
What-
Emperor realizing he's a bad copper merchant, everything going on in the 41st millennium.
Thanks, Shadow, for that.
Oops.
Damn you, Ian is here!
Damn you, Inazir, release me from this chair immediately.
So, what the funniest part about Inazir is, really, at the end of the day, is the fact that the guy sold enough copper to buy a house to store all of the complaints about his copper in.
Yes.
Like,
Wouldn't
it
you?
wasn't like he was unsuccessful and people were just hating on him for being dog shit. He's like the Logan Paul of copper merchants.
I think my favorite was the joke that you're never truly forgotten. You never truly die until you're forgotten. Meanwhile, the Grim Reaper waiting to get Ian Nasir.
Right, yeah.
Likely ban evader. Restricted.
It's Ian Nazir. He's ban evading.
This is going better than Gilgamesh's reign. How so? 50% did well. You forgot the other two existed. I am gonna need context on that one.
Yeah.
By Marks.
Ow.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Fair. So anyway, he charged once more. So author doesn't understand Gothic, didn't do any research. Moving on. He
Yeah,
charged
Many
once more, and I fired 2 shots. Why would you stop? The first one hit his chest and didn't penetrate.
Bro is using 9
Bro,
mil
he's
and
got
40K.
3 arms and an axe. I
He's
am
using
emptying
45.
the clip.
He's using 45 and it didn't penetrate? I call bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Well, they are
Well,
hollow.
actually,
Gold.
technically, no,
No,
technically,
45 is-
no,
45 is a whole gold.
no, dude. 45 barely has more penetrative power than a 9mm.
Yeah,
Not to
but they're
mention,
holding
again,
less
no,
bullets.
no, no, no. Let's be clear. If this guy's wearing, even if he's just wearing flak armor, which is shown to be equivalent to modern Kevlar, this guy is
Yeah.
using 45 hollow point.
Yeah.
Shoot the guy in the head, he'll die. Shoot him in the flak, he's gonna be just
Yeah.
fine.
Well, fine for a while, but yeah. A
Given
plate
value.
of
Also depends on
chitinous
how-
bone spider webbing with cracks.
Oh, it's
Why would you shoot him in the armor? The second shot that I let the recoil kick upward. No. Oh, he's such a fucking pro sharpshooter that he can manage the recoil to allow him to realign a shot at a better angle. He's already
Sneaky.
he's pre-calculated the recoil.
I literally do this. I've trained to do this.
Yeah, oh yeah, you do it while
Like, I
someone's
have
charging at you with an
hours
axe.
into do it.
Oh yeah, you do
No,
it while someone's
fuck
charging at
no.
you with an axe. Oh, okay. So you
That's why
don't
you do
practice
it at
regularly
the
with someone's
range for
charging you with an axe.
hours and hours and hours, just like the police do, so that when someone is charging you, you fall back on reflexes that have been drilled into you. That is the point of training, Sneaky.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of police videos, buddy, and very
yeah, they
few
fuck up all the
times. Yeah. Yeah, there's a point
It
of
doesn't
training,
always
but there's
stick.
also a point as to why police do stationary training and soldiers actually run courses.
Yes. Well, some police actually run the courses.
I
but
know the
most don't.
police. I know some police departments have courses, but the military as a whole runs courses.
Yes.
See, they might, but it's funnier if I think that they don't.
So my point is more along the lines of I highly doubt that this guy does extreme training courses that would allow him, despite being surprised, to John Wick the recoil to allow him to headshot the guy. I'm just really doubting it. You know, because so far, we've seen just general incompetence from him across the board. I'm not really being generous here to be understanding about why he suddenly is not being retarded when it comes to recoil and how that works.
Yeah, this guy's talking out of his ass.
Wait, so the 45's on the left and the 9's on the right?
Yes. It does not have hollow point listed on the 9
Well, the
millimeter for some reason.
grain
I
is
don't know
also
why.
way higher on all of those. I'm
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
find one
That's because
even
the
remotely close. The 90 grain is like the closest one to anything in the 9 millimeter range. And even then, they're roughly the same in terms of stats.
I mean, bigger bullet, bigger cartridge, and the 45 has more powder behind it, more power behind it, but it's also a bigger round.
Yes, but okay, how to put this? There's a reason why we moved away from 22 special and 45s, and we moved the 9 millimeter for police weapons.
There's a few reasons for that. One of them is actually 9 millimeter is less lethal than 45 if you're struck with it, because they didn't like the idea of police killing people as often. It's the same reason we moved from oh shit, the rifle rounds between 556 and 762. We switched from
No,
762
762 was always Soviet. We
556.
never chambered 762 as a standard round.
I was gonna say I'm
Uh,
fairly
the
certain that was
American
Soviet.
762 is actually 30-06, and it's
Yeah,
it
I
is
was
a
about to
standard
say.
round.
Oh wait, no. Americans use 30-08.
Oh, wait
No,
a
it's
minute, what the fuck?
30-06.
No.
It's 30-06.
Sorry, it's just you're so wrong all the time that I just can't believe anything you say. All right, fair enough. Springfield's 30-06.
Hang
Fair
on.
enough.
I did think it was 308.
For the
No,
first
there
time,
is
It also
there
used
is a
308.
308 conversion for
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
yeah.
for the first time in months,
The sign was
correct.
actually right for the first time in months. You're right, Gray.
Stop the presses!
Damn.
No, my
You know what?
goodness.
You'll be wrong in a
Yeah,
3
you'll be
days.
wrong soon enough. Yeah.
But
3
no,
days. I give
we
it 30
switched
minutes
from
tops.
No,
True.
no. To
We
be fair,
switched
I don't
from
think it was just a
7.62
less than
NATO.
lethal. I think that was also more because the 5.56 could have more bullets at the time in magazines.
You carry more bullets. Also, they weigh less in your pack. There's several reasons, but one of them that they especially sold to the NATO countries who really didn't like the idea of maiming, killing, or permanently wounding people was 556 punches pretty little holes in people. 7.62, the exit wounds look like the size of your fist.
Okay, yeah, okay, well, at least you're not doing that less than lethal shit you fucking tried on your server.
The fuck are you talking about?
So, to everyone not aware, Sign on his own personal server tried to pull out his ass that the reason why we switched to 5.56 was for the less than lethal status of the round, and like half of the
Yes, it
gun autist on
technically
the
is.
server proceeded to run train on his asshole.
I'll reiterate, it is one of the points they sold the entirety of NATO on is that it's less lethal compared to the 7.62. It is still 100% lethal. It will kill you dead, but in most cases, it produces pretty little through and through holes that bleed a lot. You tend to have more survivors, statistically speaking, being shot from 5.56 than from 7.62.
I mean, that might also just be generally the people involved in the shooting.
No. So, did you hear about the time they gave the Marine Corps actual ACOG scopes? This was after the 5.56 conversion, and they had a war crimes tribunal come for them and saying, "Hey, look, we think you're executing prisoners here because of all the headshots."
Well, yes.
Let me check. That electrician actually covered that one.
No, I remember that one. Yeah, no, specifically they were looking for a new M16 to replace the M16, and then in true US military fashion, the US military looked at a scope that someone put on a new gun and said, "Wait a second, what's that?" And they're like, "It's a scope." He's like,
they just
"Yeah.
stuck a
Can we put this on the M16?" And it turns out you could, and they're like, "Damn. You're more accurate when you shoot through a scope?"
Yeah, they started popping off headshots at a ridiculous rate.
Yeah. And then people thought that they were executing people, when in actuality it was just we were more accurate. Well, I mean, okay, to put it this way, when we were fighting people in Spain, during one of the wars, the Marines landed inland, and the army was landing on the beaches. And the enemy army ran towards the army and surrendered because they didn't want to fight the Marines.
Yes. They were scared. Marines' reputation preceded them.
To be fair, Marines' reputation is NATO handbook says to throw a flashbang into a room. After announcing throwing the flashbang into the room, the Marines read that as everyone's expecting you to throw a flashbang into the room. Wouldn't it be funny if you threw a frag instead?
No, that would be
Flash
a war
out,
crime.
throws frag.
Yeah, and there was such a
They
high
expect you to throw a
lethality.
flash. What if we throw at least 3?
Yeah, so basically what happened is the troops in the Middle East got very used to the other NATO forces doing clearing runs on buildings where they would throw a flash in, so they would all raise their hands to block their eyes from being flashed and then fire on the troops trying to enter the room. The Marines were like, "That's stupid. Why would we enter the room to shoot them when we can just throw a grenade in?" And so they would
cast
all raise their
explosive
arms over their eyes to block the flash, and then they would die to the frag grenades. And then because everyone kept dying to the frag grenades, word never got out that the Marines aren't using flash grenades.
Hey, that's cheating.
And it only came out way later that the Marines weren't following NATO regulation because some fucking lieutenant somewhere was like, "Wait a second. Why do we never need to restock flash grenades and we need to keep restocking frag grenades?"
The answer is shut up. You're gonna get us
Someone
caught.
in inventory found a problem.
I mean, here's the
Hold
thing.
on a second.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
In fairness to
man.
that quartermaster, that's his job. Because, like, right? In this case, it was because the Marines were doing funny things. But, like, it could have been a Marine or someone on the base stealing frag grenades.
Oh, yeah, and then other shit that the Marines did was when everyone started finally getting used to the Marines throwing frag grenades in, the Marines started throwing rubber ducks into the room, yelling frag, everyone in the room would take cover, then the Marines would run in and shoot them all because they were taking cover from the frag grenade that wasn't thrown into the room.
Just yelling frag out as you
You
toss a
know,
fucking duck in.
when our
Yeah.
Marines do something smart, it's really scary. Because it's
Well,
usually very effective.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
I'm not sure this is okay to be
What-
doing,
what-
but it's working.
Alternative
What's the second
tactics
one?
were other fun things like yelling frag, waiting 5 seconds, then throwing the frag grenade in, so everyone who was waiting for the frag grenade has already popped back out of cover.
Oh God, no.
Wait, they didn't throw anything.
No. Oh God, why? Let it never be said that our Marines are anything less than effective.
Listen, it's because they eat so much glue.
Yeah, it strengthens them, it holds their
crayons.
bodies together. Oh, God.
Shut up.
I mean, hey, man, there is some fucking wild shit that's come out of the Middle East. Like that one guy who got hit with 7 frag grenades, 30 rounds of 7.62, and then managed to cart like 10 people onto a Black Hawk to get them evacuated before finally dying.
Wait, wasn't that fucking Operation Northwoods?
Yeah, something like that.
Like it's
Yeah.
really infamous. The one dude who was sitting there basically fighting off an entire, I want to say, not a brigade, but the next one down.
There's like 15
worth of
guys, yeah.
Enemies. Yeah, it's a platoon, excuse me.
Yeah,
Platoons worth of
basically what happened
enemies.
was a couple squads of dudes were going up into the mountains. They started taking fire from higher on the mountain ridge. Grenades, RPGs, AKs, the works. Pretty much everyone in the squad got downed except for the sergeant. And the Black Hawk finally makes it to them to start evacuating the Marines. And so he goes around and carries every single Marine onto the Black Hawk, gets into the Black Hawk himself, and then fucking dies. And the medic's like, good job, you saved everyone. Wait, what the fuck? And then they did
wait,
an
you did.
autopsy on the guy, and he ate like he ate fragmentation from 7 different grenades. He got shot 30 plus times with 7.62, fragmentation from an RPG, and it was just like,
It was
what
all
the
those.
fuck?
It was all those crayons he ate. They enforced his stomach.
the subdermal wax armor.
Some
He had been shooting
are just
himself with lower caliber
built
rounds to
different.
better resistance.
He was too busy shooting himself with low caliber rounds. Yeah. He built up his bullet resistance skill.
Oh, what a fucking shad.
Oh yeah, no, it was like it was just a fucking wild ass story. I mean,
It's not
Uh,
Northwoods. I can't remember the name of it.
but I mean, it's actually pretty funny because the British and American have so many fucking tales of just absolutely insane shit that the Americans and some British guys did during like World War II in the Middle East. Just completely insane tales of like the Battle of the Bulge. The Americans showed up. They were like, "This is stupid." Just proceeded to just charge, and turned like a multi-month fucking stalemate into overnight just punching through the lines and pushing forward. And it's just like, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
Local
Why is
man
it
says this is.
effective?
Local man says this is retarded. I'm going in. What the fuck do you mean you're going in? I said I'm going in.
Yeah, it was just like, huh? Yeah, I mean, there's tales of like, this guy went to go secure the flank, except he only had like 10 dudes with him. And then like an army of like 300 fucking Germans were trying to cross through the flank he was trying to secure. And he somehow like managed to hold off the Germans until reinforcements arrived 3 days later. And it's like, what? Huh?
I will kill all of the Germans.
And then there was
You will what?
I'm going to kill every
and then there
single
was
fucking
one where
German
the
I
one
see.
guy killed like what was it, 30 people at the same time. An entire tank battalion's worth. He stopped them on a bridge or something.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's a bit of a tall tale. I don't know.
No, they had a sniping position over the bridge, and uh,
So what?
How
It's
did
a
it
scene
go?
from Saving Private Ryan.
yes, it
Oh,
is. In
wasn't
fact
that
one of
wait?
the
Wasn't
scenes
he
that
the guy
inspired the
that
movie.
invented the scout snipers or some shit?
Some shit like that? Again, Fat Electrician has a video.
Oh yeah,
on
Fat
that
Electrician's
shit.
covered all of this shit. I mean, there's tons of wild ass stories. Honestly, that's what pissed me off about Battlefield 1 the most, is they absolutely butchered the mission where the Norway took out the heavy water facility that the Germans had set up, because it was actually like way more epic than what they did in the actual fucking game, where they inserted some fucking random woman into it. Like it was 12 Norwegians, and then 11 of them died, and the 12th Norwegian was shot fatally, but carried out the entire mission or some shit with like a fatal gut wound or some wild ass shit, and it's just like fucking what?
I think that's a case of them going, look, no one would ever believe it if we actually made it like this, so we're gonna have to change a few things.
Oh, right, because a woman with 2 prosthesis limbs taking on an entire building of Germans is more believable.
Yes.
Yes.
Slay Queen.
Yeah.
Wait,
But yeah, anyway, yeah,
you had
wild
one
feats of
prosthetic
combat.
in that. Oh no.
The Pacific campaign was also filled with some absolutely batshit insane maneuvers from people. But
The
yeah,
dude
Fat
who,
Electrician.
trained the
Campaign with
Gurkhas?
some bad shit. Yeah, no fucking.
No, not
shit.
Gurkhas.
But yeah,
The
Fat
fucking
Electrician,
Pacific
he's covered a
campaign is
lot of it.
where-
The Filipinos.
Fucking
Yeah, it's
these
the
guys.
Filipinos he trained.
Yeah, the Filipinos he trained, yeah.
Then he wanders into the woods by himself, follows a phone line to find out where they are.
Oh yeah,
kills
everything
one of
with
the
the
guys
Enterprise,
listening
yeah.
in on them. Oh, the Enterprise, yeah.
We are being haunted by the Americans. What the fuck do you mean we're being haunted by the Americans? We've
mean
blown
we're
up that carrier 9 times.
Only mostly
And
blown
then
up that
there's-
carrier 9 times.
Temper.
No, well, no,
Oh.
that's way later.
Yes, I
That's
don't
way
want to
later.
anymore.
That's just a funny story. That's like not an epic story. But like, no, the reason why the Enterprise got the name Grey Ghost was not because like, oh, they took a lot of damage. It was like, oh, they took damage that should have sunk the ship. It didn't.
We wrote it off as dead. It was
Multiple times.
A
took
local man claims to be
Fatal
dead.
critical damage.
It, in
And
fact,
then
was not dead.
didn't. And so that's why the Japanese were like, we're just being haunted now at this point. That's just a fucking ghost ship.
Just
I
a
mean,
ghost ship,
can't
man.
blame them.
This is bullshit. We're fighting ghosts now.
Well, sea's haunted.
But anyway, so he John Wicks the guy in the eye and blows his head out the back of his head. And this all happened
Blows
in
his
2
head out the back of his
seconds.
head.
Yeah. Right as I committed what we constituted as a felony. Actually, it wouldn't be a felony. You would know that if you were actually from Texas. If someone is swinging an axe at you in
Yeah.
Texas and you blow their fucking head off, that's not a felony.
You don't even need to be in Texas for that to not be a felony.
Actually, you do need to generally be in
No.
Texas for that to be a felony. I mean, the laws are very specific depending on what state you're in, but the guy is claiming to be from Texas. So he should know that it's not a felony.
He's not Texan.
Yeah, so a bunch of people then come in, and then a guy with an army outfit like a red army commissar comes in, and then a woman comes in, and they're also speaking a language while pointing weapons at me. Oh shit, my gun is dropped and my hands are parallel with my head in the instant. Self-defense, I swear. And instantly there's a spark of curiosity in their eyes. She's the one who speaks next, this time in the Queen's English. So like I said, this guy is trying to claim that before everyone was speaking Low Gothic and English is just High Gothic, so he has absolutely no fucking clue anything about Warhammer.
Yeah.
Many such cases.
Oh,
Can't
the
you
Ministry of
respect
Ungentlemanly
his lived
Warfare, yeah.
experience, Sneaky?
Yeah, respect his... Yeah. This fucker is British? Oh, shit, you're right. He called it the Queen's English. Man, fucking Brits.
I mean, no, hang on. If you were American and you heard someone speaking British, you might actually go, that's the Queen's English. That's not American English. He ain't speaking American.
He is speaking
I
incorrect.
know no single person who would
I said
unironically...
might.
I know of no single person who would unironically call it the Queen's English when they hear a British person speak.
Oi, now listen here, bruv. You got a license for that opinion.
That's
I would just
British.
call that British.
Yeah.
Like,
As Killianer says, it didn't take sign to be wrong again. Yeah. Didn't take too long for that, yeah. Yeah,
You what,
like I
mate?
said,
I love your mum.
the caveat here is specifically unironically. I know plenty of people, specifically everyone in this fucking call, might ironically call it the Queen's English.
Yes.
But unironically,
Well, that's
no.
fair. Yeah, I kind of doubt he has a grasp on irony.
Yeah, no. So anyway, she starts speaking in High Gothic, aka English, according to the author. And, who are you and what are you doing here? Said no one ever in Warhammer.
yeah.
Don't they usually shoot first and ask questions after shooting about 5 times?
They
Yeah.
shoot first and then don't ask questions. And then
Shoot
maybe if
first
an
and ask
Inquisitor
questions if
comes
you
along.
survive.
Yeah. If an Inquisitor comes along, maybe they'll shoot half of you first and then ask questions.
I mean, it's an Inquisitor. Their job is to, inquisit. You'd think they would ask questions.
No, that is
No,
no.
no.
This
That's
man
not
does
how that
not know
works?
what the motto of the Inquisition is.
What's the
Purge.
motto of the
Let's
Inquisition?
no. Being innocent is a
No.
crime.
No, a plea of innocence is guilty of wasting our time.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
okay.
The Inquisition is
familiar.
kind of fucky with it.
And by kind of,
Inquisition.
we mean
Wiki.
really.
In the Inquisition, the only people that will execute a commissar for cowardice. Anyway, so they have their weapons pointed at me. My eyes are adjusting. She's holding a bolt pistol. Again, it's this convenient swapping back and forth between I don't know what's going on and I'm retroactively telling you this information. Which works for Caiaphas Cain because Caiaphas Cain is native to 40K and knows everything in 40K.
Also, Caiaphas Cain is distinct. All of his books. Sorry, I forgot this is one of the things important to mention. All of the Caiaphas Cain books are not presented as Caiaphas Cain, right? They are Caiaphas Cain's unredacted, rambling-ass memoirs as collated by his Inquisitor girlfriend, Amberly Vale.
Right.
This man
So-
dated an Inquisitor.
He didn't just
Boldly.
date. He banged.
Oh, he's
So anyway,
crazy.
I could recognize those blocky designs anywhere. Okay, so now suddenly you can recognize Warhammer stuff, but you couldn't recognize the Chaos Cultist.
Yes.
He recognizes the gun.
Gene Stealer, but yes.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Well, he was calling him a cultist earlier. I just, you know.
Yeah, no, but then he mentioned Chitin, so Chitin, third arm, probably a Gene Stealer.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, like, that could also come from Chaos.
Yes,
Yeah, isn't that just what
Chitin,
Chaos
probably
does?
not.
Like, the
Third
Chitin,
arm?
probably
Yes.
not. Yeah, that's fair. But still, point being is if someone's got fucking chitin on their chest and a third arm and they're swinging an axe at you, why are you like, it was self-defense, guys? You just fucking shot a gene, like... My point is more along the lines of if he's able to recognize what's going on and the setting involved, why is he applying Earth modern-day logic to it?
Yeah.
And if he, like, it's... blah, blah, blah. I was answering honestly. I saw the Inquisitorial rosette hanging on them.
Bro,
What
that
I'm
means
doing...
you should not answer honestly. You should answer as dishonestly as possible.
You should answer in the most honest manner in a way that implicates you for nothing.
Yeah.
And praises the Emperor.
Yes. But not too much, because they'll shoot you for wasting time.
Depends.
As for what I'm doing while I shot this thing, blunt honesty worked for me so far.
No, it
Literally,
hasn't.
it said one single fucking line. Oh, I said one line and they didn't shoot me. Blunt honesty must be working.
The fool.
And that's how you know that he's been caught by the Inquisition.
I was just... I'm scared out of my mind, and then the realization that I killed something hits me. Like, bro, you shot a gene
But
stealer.
he's Texan.
You're a Texan that just shot a gene stealer. You're really gonna sit here and fucking moralize about it?
Like, no, he should be cheering. Woo, yeah, fuck yeah, we got something, buddy.
Bro, he's got a third arm. Don't give me that.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, but like...
He fucking got what he deserved.
Oh, I'm gonna start
Well, to be fair,
puking
he
now.
probably didn't deserve it. Most Gene Stealer cultists don't choose to be Gene Stealer cultists.
Well, yeah, sure.
No, but if he attacked me, he got what he fucking deserved.
Okay, another cardinal
that's what I'm
sin of
telling you, Simon.
Inquisition.
He
Fuck,
is
sorry
my
about that. I've never shot someone before that was a sentient being, right?
Oh,
nah, bro. That's a
mm.
gene stealer. He's not
Referring to
sentient.
Gene
He's not
Stealer as a
sentient.
person.
He
Yeah,
is a
that's
he is a GSC cultist. He literally doesn't have his own mind anymore.
yeah, like yeah, I'm sorry, but like yeah, I'm going to the face of a commissar and the Inquisition call a Gene Stealer a sentient person.
That's a bad idea.
You're
That's
courting
cool.
death.
Yeah, you're courting death. True.
I could see maybe an acolyte asking that question on the grounds of, do I need to be aware of traps when killing them?
No, see, this is a British person LARPing as a Texan.
Badly.
Badly.
That just sounds sad.
I mean,
It
it is.
He's British.
Oh, that's why he's having a problem. He had to use a gun, not a knife. Okay, that's the issue.
No.
He wasn't
Yeah.
allowed
You
to
mean a
use an
check
acid
of
attack.
peace?
Who just said he wasn't allowed to use an acid attack?
I did.
Atin.
Atin.
You're a fucking asshole.
Is he wrong?
I didn't say he was wrong. I just said he was an asshole. There's
Let's
a difference.
see what the fuck is going on
I mean,
here.
he's here, isn't he?
So, random person has. Oh, I've seen a lot of these reviews recently, where he's gone to every single fucking person's story and left a review like this. I really love your Chat GPT insert here story.
Yeah.
I'm open to commissions. Ping me.
Well,
And
to be
then-
fair, nobody knows that's Chat GPT yet.
I mean, smart people do. So anyway, he pings them, and the guy responds with like 8 random images from Pinterest.
What did he mean by this?
He's like, work in progress for an author of fanfic. Smart people FFN.
I mean-
yeah, well, you know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to commission an artist to do some art for a couple of my stories, but I know the general price range for real good art, and that shit ain't cheap. It's an investment.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, anything more than a portrait, you're asking for a lot of fucking money. And we
Yeah,
try.
you won't
Gray and I
cover
tried
art,
to get a
it's
fucking
grand.
portrait from this guy that got recommended to us, and we kept giving him corrections because he just kept fucking not listening to us when we were like, well, no, this is what it looks like, and he's like this. Like we literally told him at one point, like she doesn't have 2 arms, and then he just sent us a picture with her having 2 arms. And we're like, no, she doesn't have 2 arms.
She's missing an arm.
And then he was like, oh,
Could it be a
okay.
bot?
And then sent us an image. No, it was legitimate. Like, he this was before the whole AI art thing. Like, years before.
Okay. Just
So he's
special.
just retarded.
Well, like, he was like English second language or whatever, but like, we would explicitly outline, we sent him designs from other things that we were referencing. Like, we gave him the fucking 9 yards, and it took us like 5 back and forth corrections for him to remotely even get close. And he still made Taylor like this, like, fat ass, big booby, hot woman. And we're like, okay, fuck it. Thank you, great job. Take your $100 and leave.
Take your money and leave. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
So I'm just tired of trying to explain this to you. Okay, it literally got to the point in the corrections where I was just copy pasting earlier corrections at him.
That's fucked up.
Well, to be fair, you're trying to convince him to draw someone who's not, big titty, fat ass, porno pinup model, but a fairly average, taller than
Right,
average
but like the
girl.
thing is like you don't see her face. We weren't asking for any face designs. We were asking basically for armor, okay?
Yes.
Because she was wearing like a medieval cloak and shit, and we were like, draw, like she's got hair. Like all you can see of her face is her glowing eyes, and she has hair coming out from the cloak, kind of like Arthas style and Jaina style. Medieval cloak, like very easy to reference shit. Like we're barely even asking you to draw a body at all. And he's like, no, fat kids, fat ass. And I'm just like, no, stop.
Especially on Taylor. Those don't belong there.
That is, in fact, not America's ass.
But, Greg Veter's ideal Taylor. Yeah, totally. Get Taylor in Grego-vision.
A really sad sack of shit.
Understandable.
Yeah, he is.
Honestly, Greg is probably what could be expected from the average geek at that age. I know a lot of people like to think they'd be the one to stand up to the bullies, but like,
Oh, fuck no.
shit, it's
Well, okay.
not as easy when you're a kid.
Let me
you know?
rephrase that.
Yeah.
Until they get to the point of shoving someone in a locker, I would probably say nothing. Once they shove someone in a locker, that's when I'd be like, okay, we need to call the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else aside, the locker was so over the top. I don't see other kids tolerating that. Just because, what the fuck do you mean they're putting fucking biohazardous waste with fucking
Yeah,
blood
like,
product?
Yeah.
If
gross.
nothing else, the kids go, okay, they shoved one kid in a locker. Who are they shoving in the locker next?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
answer
screw
would
that.
be not me.
It's like, I'm
I have-
sorry, but like, yeah, I saw plenty of nerds act exactly like Greg. But I also never saw those nerds try and do any of the stuff that Gray ever showed up in Worm trying to do. Like, where he was, like, trying to get an in with Taylor or get an in with the pretty girl. Like, that was all, like, fucking Hollywood high school shit. Like, I've never seen the nerd, like, go up to the pretty girl or be in the pretty girl's group, like, yeah, yes, excuse me, I will do all the work, please just talk to me. I've literally never seen that.
I would
I
like.
unfortunately saw that once. Like,
Okay.
it happens, but it's very sad, and I think everyone instinctively realizes how pathetic that is, and that's why it's so rare.
Like, I remember the one time my freshman year that anyone even remotely approached me, and like the way they did it, it was a girl that I had literally never talked to before, and she comes up and starts giving me a literal fucking shoulder massage, and I was just like, go fuck off with whatever stupid bet you're doing. Like, it was on the bus. I was like, leave me the fuck alone. Whatever shit you're doing, go away.
Because it's
Locker
weird
was
and
literal
creepy.
biowarfare. Yeah.
Of course, it's weird.
listen.
And it's like, look, I know who I am. I know what I am. I sure as fuck have never talked to you. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I am the tech kid. You are not talking to me out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah, I
Either
mean,
you're on
it's
the locker,
or you've been dared.
it's also like, for me, it's kind of hard to reconcile. Like, I can recognize that not everyone, I mean, obviously I was in that position as a kid where I was still fucking aggressive as the small, scrawny nerd, but I also knew I couldn't do shit about it. Like, I would get into fights and then get my shit absolutely rocked as the small, scrawny nerd. And yeah, obviously when I stopped being small and scrawny, and I started dropping people stopped generally fucking with me. But it's just like, I guess I can't wrap my head around people just like crying in a corner and hoping that people stop torturing them.
Listen, man, it doesn't work. I actually got fucking pushed around for like the first time in years as a senior of all things by a younger black guy and his friends, because they only knew me as the haha drama guy who, fucking literally part of the chess club.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me so aback that I just didn't react. And it happened exactly once. Because at the end of it, I punched a hole in a wall, and the coach found out what had happened, and the only punishment I received was I got a stern talking to for actually punching through a very old, very half rotten brace in the wall, but apparently I actually did a bit of damage. But I went from maybe getting into a fight once every week or so in 9th grade to gaining 6 inches and like 50 pounds of mostly muscle.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That stuff stops real quick when that happens.
Well, I mean, it continues until the first fight afterwards, and then everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
See, that never happened for me. Like, that never happened because, Max, Ricky, Sneaky, those guys, they have all seen me. Right, that never happened for me. That never happened for Atin. So Atin just had to be known as the crazy kid who was willing to hurt you.
Oh, yes, of course, obviously. Yes.
Obviously.
Well, I went.
I mean, I was also known as the crazy kid who was just willing to hurt you. I mean, like.
Well, you're in Jersey. Everyone is that kid.
Like, listen, right? They had to listen. The first time I really hurt somebody, they were like, they all took a second look at Atin and they were like, Atin looks like the kind of kid to shoot up the school.
Oh dear.
Actually, Atin, I went to school with an actual crazy person who is currently in jail because he carried out a drive-by.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah, it was. I remember this because it was senior year. He actually had dropped out, but he lived in the neighborhood across from the school, and he was in the papers like a week later, and the school had gone into full lockdown because he was part of a gang.
Of course.
He shot up another gang member's house.
Obviously.
And he injured like 3 people. Didn't kill anyone, thank goodness, but injured 3 people.
Impressive.
But the school I went to had a lot of drugs. Not necessarily a lot of extreme violence in the school, but there was a lot of violence around the school. Very famously, we had one of the students actually get executed on the baseball field. He was.
I beg to fuck your pardon?
Yeah. He was a blood. And he wasn't at school at the time, but he was chased down and he made it to the baseball field, where he was shot, and then they finished him off on the baseball field. And that's just kind of a story I remember.
Hashtag gang life.
Yeah,
just a wee tale for the children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
There's a lot of meth in my schools, unfortunately, for the high school. But no, to circle it back to fan fiction, something like the locker. If that had happened to me in school, I would have had a full blown Karen moment. If that was next to my locker, I would have been screaming at the top of my lungs. What the fuck are you doing? Get that shit out of there right the fuck now. I'm telling the principal. I'm calling the cops. Like, my disgust reaction would have been so strong.
Yeah.
Had they not stopped that, I probably would have hit them. Because
I mean, I've told this story numerous times. I literally sent someone to the hospital because they threw my drink out of my hand.
Yeah, well, just.
But you're not much right. This is talking about like the
right. I know, but I'm just saying, like, I know everyone's got a fucking line, but I kind of really feel like, I mean, not even the locker shit, like generally half the shit I saw Wildbow write that Taylor went through in terms of the bullying, like half of that shit would have sent plenty of people over the line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I remember, didn't she have to have like multiple school email accounts because they kept getting filled up with abuse?
Yes.
See, to me, that's actually one of the least believable things because that's verifiable. Now
Yeah,
the
that's like
school is
blatantly verifiable, and there's no way any of those girls are smart enough to set up bot accounts.
Yeah,
And even if they do, like, it's still verifiable that here I have written records of these people are fucking beating my ass. Also, I have multiple school emails that are full of mean comments and telling me to
corroborate.
kill
Well, the thing
myself.
is that's
Yeah.
corroboration. The
Yeah.
journals themselves are hearsay. They are not admissible as evidence in a court of law. However, if there is corroborating information in the form of the email accounts, and the thing is even if those emails are deleted after the fact, it would still have to be recorded that she would have had to receive multiple emails, and then that information
It
would be
would really
subpoenaed,
depend on the file structure. If they were doing in-house exchange servers, which I'm sorry, I just really have a hard time wrapping my head around a school like Winslow setting up in-house exchange servers and giving out school emails to everyone. It's like I didn't even get a school email in any grade until college.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Well, no, I had one. No, that's not true. I had one in high school.
Hang on, they may be doing a district email exchange server with each school having its own individual
domain.
mailing.
I mean,
domain.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even if
yeah,
they do that,
maybe.
right? Like the fact remains that they had to change the account right? If nothing else, there would be a ticket log of why the fuck does this Taylor Herbert girl have 4 different email addresses?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a paper trail, there's digital evidence, there's a harassment campaign, something's going on here. So, I mean,
Well, it's
Oh,
not
the
just
thing is,
multiple
also-
emails. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, there's a ticket log of we have to empty her email because it maxed out and no more emails could be sent, and the server queue was getting fucking filled up with so the server buffer was getting filled up with emails pending.
The
Like,
thing is that that's not just a principal thing either, though. That's the IT, that's the school secretary, that's everyone involved, and they all
right, but that's what
have
I'm
to
saying.
do
Like, there's
reports.
no way Winslow was managing that because there's like that. That's like, why would Winslow even need? Like, I can sort of get like Arcadia maybe being a more fancy private school, having some sort of
Immaculata.
like, or
I mean, it's
Immaculata,
called
but that's
Arcadia.
religious. Yeah, it's called Arcadia.
My point is, of course, it's fucking fancy and shit. It's
Yeah,
called Arcadia.
Point being is that yeah, sure. Like what I'm more trying to get at is it's the year 2010. What the fuck is any high schooler doing with a school email account? Nothing. They're doing nothing with a school email account. Teachers haven't even realized that Word 2008 exists yet. What the fuck are they gonna do with an email account?
Like, do you have any idea how much text-based email it would take to fill up even a small exchange email account? Just a small, call it, I don't know, 100 meg allocation?
100 meg
Yeah.
in 2010? I mean, maybe give them
I
a
said
gigabyte
small.
at least.
Yeah, okay,
I
listen.
said
Speaking as
small.
someone who works at a company, right?
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind, they're sending, like, if you are gonna have...
documents.
Yeah, if they are gonna have a school email, because they'll be sending the teachers emails with like attachments and shit on them, which means you at least need to give them a gig.
Okay, call it a gig. Still, the amount of spam you'd have to get to fill that shit up from
Yeah,
students
yeah, absolutely. It'd be
sending
ludicrous.
hate
Like, we're
mail.
talking hundreds of thousands of emails.
Like you couldn't do it unless you were sitting there sending excessively large files just to fuck with it, like videos and shit, gore
Oh yeah,
videos,
Jin, that's what I
whatever.
said. There's no way they set up a bot network to send emails to a school email, especially if this is a in-house managed exchange server. They've just fucking blocked that shit.
Yeah, they just bounce it.
Hey,
My-
someone's trying to send another student like dead bodies. Go ahead and block that.
Yeah.
My brother's issue was that
Oh.
some random girls would break his stuff after asking to borrow it. One year they gave him, they asked for his yearbook and he gave it back to him with shit ripped out of it. Yeah, that shit's fucked up, man.
that's
See,
when
that's
you
why I
hand them
cultivated
back
the
that.
whole aggressive asshole persona in school, because I was just like, if people are too afraid to fuck with me, then I don't have to worry about that shit. I never had a high school email account. I had a college one. Yeah, because I mean, like in college, it makes more sense. You're emailing professors. You gotta sign up for like educational discounts and shit like that.
Sign up for classes online.
Classes online, emailing the professors
Get
with
your schedule.
assignments. There's a whole bunch of things that just having a college email just makes it easier for you and the college to do shit with. I cannot imagine what fucking ghetto high school needs with a bunch of emails. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but
I mean, they're doing it now.
Well, they're
Again,
doing it
right?
now, but that's a decade later.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, fair.
we have fully changed massive parts of our culture and societal interactions at this point compared to even a
Well,
decade ago.
Let me think. I do seem to recall there was some stuff. My girlfriend had a kid that was in school at the time, 10 years ago, and they were using Blackboard, is it?
Yeah, Blackboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
using
Blackboard.
their school emails for Blackboards. When I was working with the local schools on that kind of stuff, they also all had their own individual emails. But like I said, it was the server was managed by the school district, and
And
each
each
one had
school
its
got a domain.
own
Yeah.
domain. Yeah, but that was all school district managed it. That was all funded by the taxpayers. It was one
Yeah.
server. Yeah.
I mean, again, like, yeah, but that's like, even in the scenario where Wildbow is right about, for some reason, Winslow having school emails, he's still wrong because it would be district managed.
Yes.
And
Well,
so
hmm,
it would just be major red flags just across the board for that.
Yeah,
so
and the thing is though, is duty to report. Sorry, sign. Duty to report means that if you don't, and they can prove that you knew about it, not only do you lose your contract, you can lose your benefits and be blacklisted across the state.
You can
At
get
least here in
fucking
Georgia.
jailed.
Yeah, I would say it opens
Jailed.
you up to jail time. It also
I
opens
think
you up to
that only
private
applies
lawsuits in
to-
cases of significant neglect. Like,
Yeah, I think that only applies though in cases of specific and significant neglect, and I think that only applies to first order reporters. If you're an IT guy, I don't think you could actually go to jail over that. But I do know you can actually lose your contract.
the
Is this
IT
It would
guys
really
need to
depend,
mind, but
um,
Is this
Taylor's
about mandated
teachers,
reporting?
100%.
Yeah, it's about mandated reporting. It would really
Okay,
depend.
No, it
Like-
doesn't depend. If you see something, you have to report it if you work for a school system.
Right,
An
no,
IT firm cannot send out its contractors without them going through the same shit.
Right, no,
I
but
did with
what I'm
in-house
saying
IT.
though is it would really depend on like the scenario. Like the IT guy wouldn't be investigating every single email Taylor got, but if he got a ticket of Taylor's email broken, please fix, and then he looked in at the email and saw, like, looked at the recent message list, and it was just like hundreds of emails with like the title "Go die in a fire, you whore," he would have to report that.
Well, if
Oh,
he
You get
worked
email.
directly
It's a
for the
bunch of
school
people claiming
district,
that she
yes.
should die. Go, what the fuck?
If he worked directly for the school district, yes, he would have a duty to report.
Well, even if he's a
If he were a
contractor, he'd have to
third
report it.
party, if
No,
you're a
no,
third
he has to
party
report
brought
it.
in, he
No.
would have to
No,
report
he
it
does.
to the school
No.
district, but not to the police.
No, he does.
Like he had
No, he does.
the
Sign, they
police.
don't have to go to the police. They usually handle it through the school district. They go the ideal scenario is, hey boss, above me in the school district, I saw this, here's the problem. And then if the police need to ask you questions, you'll be included in that report.
Yeah.
You aren't required to go to the police, but you are required to report it to someone in authority. If you happen to be the school superintendent, the buck stops with you, so now you have to go to the police about it. Like, the schools have a chain of command. It's kind of loosey-goosey sometimes, but a mandated reporter doesn't have to go to the police. They just have to go to someone in authority above them.
Yeah, Taylor did mention the other girls weren't the best computer class. Yeah, so they weren't like super fucking hacks or wizards.
But they were
So-
somehow
No, she
smart
made
enough
it
to make a
sound like-
bunch of spare emails.
She
Yeah,
made it sound
somehow
like that's
she's
what
getting
they were doing. They're
fucking
making
spare
spare
emails.
emails.
Yeah, who the fuck knows how that's even happening? Also, this is
Why
what's
the
really
school
baffling me,
just
right?
giving out extra? Why is the school
Well, right,
providing
yeah,
spare
on top of
emails?
that, right? But like on top of that, it's okay. So let's envision the world as Wildbow does. The school, in fact, has school emails. Taylor, in fact, has a school email. Taylor, for some reason, never turns in a single assignment digitally, despite knowing that if she brings in the physical copy, it will be destroyed or stolen.
Well, a lot of teachers do have an aversion to that. Like I dealt with several in the university level who were like, if you don't bring this in physically and put it in my hands, it doesn't count. Get fucked.
Yeah, especially for final assignments. That was something I was
Mhm.
dealing with as late as like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Some of them actually wrote the books on that subject, made you buy their books at $200 to $300 a pop, and said
Yeah.
if you did not give them the physical tear out from their books, you get a 0. Get
Yeah.
fucked, pay us more money.
Yeah, I know.
Pay me money and buy my fucking book that I spent money on.
Yes. It's so fucking dumb.
Yes.
But I don't see a high school doing that. Now, telling them you need to turn it in physically, on the other hand, yes, I absolutely see a high school doing that.
I could believe that, but I mean, like, if you're having genuinely such a problem with it, email the teacher the assignment, and then ask if the teacher can print it out, or ask if, you know, they can send it to librarians so you can print it out, like, depending on where the fucking printer is. Just like, if you are genuinely in such critical educational danger that you are not able to get a single assignment in because someone keeps stealing and or destroying them, how about doing something else?
Well, see, here's the
that was
thing. I
Taylor's
can see
problem.
a child. I can see a child who is being severely bullied not being proactive. The flip side, though, is because my mother is a teacher. If she sees something like that, if she sees a student go from A to barely passing at best, she's going to look into what happened. And if she sees something like, oh, every single assignment they've tried to turn in has been damaged or destroyed somehow, she's going to smell a rat. She's going to dig into that. Because again, at the end of the day, she does love her kids. She
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
her students. She wants the best
Sure.
for them. But she
But
gets
your mother's
sued.
a decent right. We are
Well, it's not just that. If she screws something up, if she knowingly allows children to be abused under her care, not only could she be personally liable, not only could she go to jail, she could be sued. She could lose her benefits. She could lose her retirement. Like, as a teacher, if you screw up like that, you lose everything. And the
Yeah.
school system will feed you to the media feet first. They will make you a scapegoat.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
if I'm
100%, yeah.
if I'm gladly, I'm sitting
Winslow
there
is
going,
a perfect example of the American education system. Not even slightly.
no.
No,
No,
it the fucking
really
isn't.
No.
Okay, so look,
Teachers-
I've been to some really bad places, right? I've seen some apathetic teachers. I know people who worked at schools where they had broken metal detectors at the door because the copper was stolen out of them. None of them were ever as neglectful as what was described in Winslow.
Yeah.
Well, another part of that
Winslow
is
is at best an example of the most extreme inner city school.
Yeah, the
Well,
most
okay, you have
extreme.
to
Like, that's
remember-
not an example of the American education system. That's an example of flagrant, blatant, malicious neglect, greed, and just abuse. Like, that's
okay.
not the standard American political, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to also remember that Winslow is a product of the setting of the world it's set in, where we look at it and go, yeah, there's no way it could be that bad. There's no way that could happen, because we can look at our own inner city schools and go, look, they're not that bad. The problem is, Worm is a death world, and people tend to forget that. You can't get international shipments anymore because of fucking Leviathan. The Endbringers have ruined the infrastructure. The entire point is that everything is failing, falling apart, degraded, and if it's bad,
Yeah, but that doesn't
already
actually make
you
a lot of
turn it up
sense
to
if you think about it, right?
12.
No, it doesn't actually make a lot of sense if you think about it. No, it
in-
doesn't. Because the U.S. actually
International
isn't
sports
short
still
that many
happen,
minerals.
though.
Yeah, international
It
shipping was
just-
also still
well,
ongoing.
It was just really hard.
Yeah.
And
Leviathan
well,
made
the
it
thing is,
harder.
it's
It
not
didn't
hard.
become
It's because
impossible.
Leviathan doesn't attack ships; he attacks ports, which means there should have actually been a massive expansion in smaller ports and a reduction in concentration. But setting that aside,
Yeah.
it's not just that it's bad; it's what happened to Taylor is the kind of lawsuit you cannot sign rights away to.
Yeah.
You would be able to sue people. You would be able to sue the school system. You'd be able to sue the
Yes.
district. You'd be able to sue the city. Like that's the kind of lawsuit you hear about turning into like $100 million class action lawsuit that ends a dozen political careers.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote it as I did in a Saturday Night Special, where the detective actually goes through all that and goes, "Oh, it's that bad. Everyone involved is fucked."
Also, as we just saw, Taylor is the daughter of the head of hiring of the dock workers.
Yeah, no. That wouldn't happen. There are people you don't fuck with, and that's one of them.
Yeah. So,
Honestly, I think it'd be fun to see a little crack, just a crack fic, like, because we know Danny's something of a gentle soul comparatively.
no, apparently
don't
he's
know
a
what's-
rage-fueled menace.
He's
well-
he's one of those meek spoken, but you piss him off and he hulks out.
Well, no,
types.
okay, no, here's the thing though. Like he tries to keep a level head. What we don't
Yes.
see are the dozens of workers under him who all are
Light
really fond
breakers.
of Taylor.
Yeah.
And
Pipe
it's
fitters.
like, so he comes and works like, yeah, no, we're going through this thing. Found out my kid's being bullied, and then at the end of the week, Danny's like, okay, guys, why did the news cover the school and the coincidental breaking of kneecaps of certain parents?
Don't worry about it, boss. It'll be all right.
Yeah, so I
Uh-huh.
actually I was
Don't
reading a
boss.
story. It was kind of a funny story too. It was a little bit cracky. I was reading a story for Worm in which Taylor got the power to summon a vending machine. And
Oh?
yeah,
Was she reincarnated as well?
no, she just got the
Fuck off.
power to summon a vending
No,
machine.
I'm sorry.
And-
I want reincarnated as vending machine to resume updating. That was just a funny.
I hated it.
It's so
anyway,
bad, but it's
it was
also
The point
so
being is that the
nice.
vending machine could have different modes that she had to unlock by like doing quests or paying off the cost of it. When she could earn vending machine points was equivalent to 1 point equals $1, and she could
Okay,
earn vending
so-
machine points by doing basic quests like exercising in the morning or cleaning 1 square cubic meter of trash and depositing it in the vending machine.
So they did indeed just slam the gamer system and the vending machine system together.
Yes.
All right, it's fair enough. They
Ah.
actually, those work together just fine.
So this
Yeah,
has
no,
nothing to
no.
do what happens next. So on the other side, Danny is talking about how his daughter had an incident and all that at the dock workers, and there's a whole fucking subplot just going on in the background as Taylor is going around becoming the clean sweeper hero. Where they're fucking going out, breaking legs, gathering evidence on the school, slashing tires, and literally just doing mob shit.
Exactly what I wanted. Like, Danny doesn't realize he runs the local mafia.
And then it gets to a point where Danny's boss calls him in, and he's like, "So I hear you're the new mobster hero on the block," and he's like, "What? No? Huh? You know, I got some contacts if you ever need them. Huh?"
Boss, I'm very confused. Please get to the point.
And then, I think the story stopped updating at the point where, like, ABB showed up, and they're like, "We hear there's a new cape on the block, trying to make something out of the dock workers," and everyone points at Danny.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It probably stopped there because the author realized they can't write Danny out of this corner.
No, they did! So Danny, like, gets up, makes this whole speech, all the dock workers slowly, like, arm themselves during the speech that he's distracting the ABB with, and then his speech finishes, and the ABB look at the dock workers, who are now, like, numbering 3 times as many as them, and all have, like, baseball bats and crowbars, and are like, we'll come back later.
You know what? Fair is fair.
And then, like, Circus gets hired by Coyle to lead the ABB because Lung got taken down by Armsmaster's new formula because Taylor wasn't there to intervene.
Oh yes.
And then, so Circus gets hired by Coyle to lead the ABB by pretending to be a fox-themed hero named Kitsune, and she tries to foist it off on Danny as the new mafia leader in town, thinking that he has powers, and he's like, "I have no fucking idea what's going on anymore."
See, though, you don't need to go that far. Just Danny could just go to all the other parents in the union and be like, "Hey, you should probably pull your kids out of Winslow."
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the dock workers union would make up about 1/3 of the population of Brockton Bay.
Like, Danny does that, they lose population for the school, they lose funding, and then suddenly it's, what can we do to make this right and make you bring your kids back and stop pulling them out? Well, you see, we have a problem with these specific students. We need you to do something about that.
Daniel, some of your kids are okay. Don't come to Winslow tomorrow.
Oh god.
That is a phrasing.
Speaking of people writing out of corners, Wildbow wrote about writing characters into corners in the essay. Okay, well, you know, we might have to cover this essay on Friday. But yeah, just generally, I hate Worm so much because, like, nothing makes fucking sense in it. We've covered the locker issue before in the past, where it's like the lockers he's referencing aren't used in the Northeast. The ones that are used in the Northeast cannot fit a person inside them, especially not someone Taylor's size. You know, like, just like all these fucking issues. And then Wildbow not understanding the United States class structure, and he's like, "Oh, well, she was actually in there for an hour, but the time period he was referencing is only 10 minutes in the Northeast," and then, like, he was just getting everything wrong left and right about all of the things surrounding the locker. And yeah, he obviously blatantly just like, oh, well, I know these kids just committed bioterrorism, but one of them's a hero, so it all got swept under the rug because no one wanted to report it.
Many such
You know,
cases.
in a world where people having bad days causes catastrophic events. That's the other thing I never really understood, is how the PRT managed to cover up, like, oh no, a shootout occurred, and these parents died during the shootout, and then this new child cape just randomly appeared at the same time, and their power is the ability to shoot bullets at people.
Hey, wait a
Or
minute.
not bullets.
I don't know about this one, Chief. I think there's
Someone
something
check
weird
Sophia
here.
for master powers. There was another fic I did see make that they made that a joke at one point, yeah. But yeah, it just like doesn't fucking make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. None of the shit going on makes any sense at all. You know, they have this whole master stranger shit, and they have Taylor being like a straight A student before, and then all of the sudden, all of her grades plummet, and she doesn't turn in a single assignment anymore, and she becomes known as the stupid delinquent girl. Like all the massive personality shift, air quotes. And no one was like, hey, there might be a master stranger issue.
Listen,
No
if
one.
I'm the school therapist and I see that happen to a kid, in between massive rips off of a bong, because that's what school therapists do all day, drugs.
Actually, legitimately, yeah.
I'm looking at that and going, shit, is this kid getting abused at home? Did something happen? Is there some kind of sexual abuse? Because that's literally in your contract. You're supposed to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Also,
probably
Emma does
thinking to
also have a
myself,
massive personality shift. Yeah, that's true.
no, I'm just looking at that shit and going, you know what? I'm just gonna have a meeting. I'm just gonna ask. So if something does happen, I'm covered.
Kid, are you being abused? No. My job's done.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like Wildbow kind of really rubbed off too much on in multiple ways, too much on Taylor, because it's just like she's written so unrealistically. She's written realistically as a teenager, but like unrealistically in terms of what she claims to have done. Like, oh, I went to these people with this evidence, and then they laughed at me as they shredded it. And it's like, that's not what would happen. Like, that is so hilariously not what would happen that it's like not even close.
Well, the thing is if they had shredded evidence like that, that's not just the school being neglectful. That's rising to the level of criminality in and of itself. That is reaching the level of half of the principal's office is going to jail over this.
Yeah. Like, it's just there is a reason why when I tried to write the worm story, the first thing my character did, recognizing the situation of some random girl just committed bioterrorism on the dock worker's daughter.
Yeah.
I have to kick her shit in now. Like, I am running an illegal operation in this school. I have to kick the ever-loving shit out of her and pray to God I can negotiate with the head of hiring of the dock workers to not bring the police into this, because my ass is fried if anyone starts looking into this school. Like,
honestly, that just sounds like World of Darkness writing.
Yeah, fair. I'm getting dinner.
I mean, yes.
Actually, I of all things had a fully articulated dream about how I would have done Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. last night. I
Of
actually
course,
think it-
everyone can have a dream about that because they fucked it up so bad.
They never make it.
Exactly.
Fair.
Can I get
suppose
your
yeah.
opinion on what I actually wrote down real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So it opens with a cinematic. It's first person. Your character wakes up in an open pit surrounded by corpses. They're in extreme, yeah,
I see.
you know exactly who I'm talking about. They're in extreme pain. Their mouth has actually been sewn closed, so they don't have a voice at this point.
Yep.
And there's this like honeyed, silky smooth voice that calls out from above and says something effective. I'm so glad to see that you finally decided to wake up. I thought you might have bled to death down there, and we wouldn't want that, would we? The character should, start to panic. They realize they're bleeding from a stomach wound, and the voice should call out. And you should only see them for a moment, but it's this pale, sickly, lean-looking vampire. And it says something to the effect of, I've left you a little gift. I hope you find it. Good luck. And then it leaves, and then it goes into character selection with the cinematic pausing. And then your character chooses what clan they join based on what skull that you click on.
Sure,
And
okay.
and then once you click on the clan, it'll play a little cinematic. Your character will break the skull open and drink the blood from it. At that point, you go into character selection. As you pass out, the change starts to happen. And so character selection is done top down with the rays of the moonlight falling onto the character's corpse. And then when you finish designing your character, it finishes, and you select your voice as they let out the first voice line from the character, this cry of pain as they pass into damnation. And then it finishes the opening cutscene with the Bali, because that's who it was doing this to your character, cutting something out of their hand, and they make a comment to the effect of, now this should make things interesting. And this little hand thing crawls over to your chest and then like sinks into it and grabs your heart. So now you have this weird fleshy appendage over your sternum. And that's the big point of the game. That's the big plot hook. What is this? Why was it placed on you? Yada yada yada. And it's also explaining why your character gets so powerful so quickly. And it's a bally bit of blood magic and flesh crafting, which gathers up the blood and the vitae from your slain enemies and empowers you by it. It's literally why you get the benefit of XP.
Okay.
And why your character gets stronger faster than other normal vampires.
So someone in the Sabbat fucked up, it seems.
Yeah, pretty much.
As per usual.
Well, the thing is not even the Sabbat tolerates the Bali. The Bali make the worst of the Zmiche look positively tame. And my idea for the game's morality to center around humanity, and humanity isn't necessarily good or evil, but how well you control your beast. But the idea was that if you fully commit to evil and you finish that part of the game, you could choose to be re-embraced into the Bali, in which will massively lower your generation. Take you from like a 13th, almost a thin blood, to like 8th. Or if you manage to like max out your humanity score, manage to actually keep control of yourself, you could instead choose to be helped by one of the few remaining Salubri, who will feed you the blood of a Methuselah, which will do something similar and lower your generation. Which is true to canon.
I would say something about the fucking like watering down.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? At this point, I don't know if it really matters at this point.
Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, it's just like, it's supposed to be a power fantasy, I get that. But I don't know.
Well, the way it would have worked in my mind is that your incentive to finish the morality quests is that unlocks the ultimate moves, because it would be an RPG. action
That's
RPG.
fair.
I
Yeah.
suppose. And so lowering your generation basically unlocks the 6th tier of disciplines, which massively strengthens you in what you've spec'd into. So that's why you want to do it.
I think the only recommendation on any sort of changes on that end would be to make it by degrees. Like, so each each discipline tier you unlock would actually be a morality quest.
That's possible. The problem is that I think it's from 9th generation and up, 9th through 13th, you can only get up to 5 dots in a discipline. And I think it's either the 7th or the 8th, and I think it's the 8th, where you can unlock the 6th dot, and then if you're 5th generation, you get 7th. Or I'm sorry, 7th generation gives you the 7th. 6th gives you the 8th. 4th, or a 5th gives you the 9th, and 4th gives you the 10th. I think, or it might only be that 3rd gives you 10th, and I'm 1 generation off. But I don't have the book ahead of me. But this literally came to me in a dream. I might make a story out of it just so I don't forget the idea.
I mean, if you make a story out of it, you could just make it an original story and do it however you want to make it better narrative structure. Because again, World of Darkness isn't exactly conductive to a coherent story.
Well, yeah, because it's like Worm. It's a story about the apocalypse, except unlike Worm, the apocalypse was supposed to happen December 31st, 1999. The world was supposed to end. And it didn't, and the game series kept going, and they kind of lost the plot.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the game kept going because the fucking Syndicate went, lol, Lamau, nice fucking Ultra Vampire, I cast nuke.
The technocracy, yeah. No, I mean, like, that's the same universe.
I genuinely forgot what the
Syndicate,
name was.
yeah.
I genuinely forgot what the name was. It's been a while.
No,
sorry.
It's fine. I mean, out of story, like, the World of Darkness games genuinely are a product of the 2000s, very early 2000s, and the 1990s. And so the problem is when you move forward in time, especially since technology roughly keeps a pace,
well,
you just run into more and more problems.
Here was the main problem with World of Darkness. Like, how do you write that vampires are hidden when there's literal fucking cameras everywhere?
A semi-conspiracy of silence, but the problem is when you start writing that, you have so many conspiracies and so many factions that don't care about those conspiracies that it becomes impossible.
I mean, to be fair, I can definitely see that happening, where they're just like, if we don't talk about the vampires, they won't know, and we can continue doing whatever we need to keep doing.
Well, see, the thing is, if it's just the vampires at all, you don't really have a problem since it's just one secret. But you have vampires, werewolves, demons, beasts, the imbued hunters, the normal hunters, sorcerers, theurges, mages, deviants, the
Actually, come to
Fomori.
think of it, did they...
Uh-huh.
Sorry, continue. I was going to say, did they actually do anything with the imbued hunters still? Or is that kind of...
They exist, but none of the recent editions have them. It's why New World of Darkness exists. They realized Old World of Darkness has too many splats, too many storylines written semi-independently, that it doesn't make sense, and it's too cluttered.
I mean, yes.
It's the inevitability whenever you try and write the expansive world without keeping everything in line. Star Wars only got away with it for so long because it's a fucking galaxy you're writing about, and you got a bajillion planets, and fucking, yeah, sure, some bullshit can happen on this fucking planet, it won't fucking matter anywhere else.
See, the thing is that everyone also starts stepping on everyone else's toes. For example, there are werewolf senators, but you also have werewolves like the Black Furies, who will literally go commit large-scale industrial ecological terrorism publicly and openly, and then turn into werewolves to kill you if you try to stop them. So there is there is, full stop, no aggregate werewolf polity. On top of that, Pentex is pretty much the worst villain ever. You can literally beat it. I literally joked about it. You can out capitalism Pentex. Get a group of 5 players, have each of them use their starting advantages to take 5 dots of resources, and then 5 dots of either followers or allies, by taking maximum disadvantages as well. And then you can literally just start with a character plus an ally that both have maximum investment into finance and resources, meaning you're starting as a multi-millionaire, or you can have a large company of like 1,000 people working for you, and now you have like 10 people, all of whom have that. And if you're all werewolves and you all know that Pentex is evil, why wouldn't you just buy it out? It's a publicly traded company. You can go buy its shares.
Well, the whole point is like you're not supposed to know everything that you know in the game. So I
What
guess
the
it's
fuck?
I get that. but then the
Coruscant
Glass
is
Vulture-
abandoned at the end of Star Wars 9 and is populated by giant wolves? What the fuck?
why is Coruscant Fenris? What the fuck?
Oh no!
No.
Is that after the Yuzan Vong invasion?
No, that's
No,
just
because that got
fucking-
decanonized.
Well, to be fair,
Also,
Disney
it's-
Star Wars also might be getting decanonized.
It says with Star Wars 9, so I'm going to assume Episode 9 from
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah,
I need a source
yeah.
of some
I
sort.
believe you. That
Regarding
sounds like
those?
Oh, shit.
say, but
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's shit. What the fuck? That's real. What the fuck?
Who wrote
And this is why
that?
we disregard
Who the
episodes
fuck wrote
7 and
that?
9. Who the fuck
God
do you
damn it.
think?
In unused concept art.
anyways, just to finish it up, World of Darkness is basically impossible to tell a coherent story in.
Yeah.
Sneaky is entirely right. If I ever write this, it'll be original fiction. But
The problem
I
with Worm
tried
is
largely
that
to dream about playing a better game than ever will be released, and I am
True.
sad by that.
real.
Maybe you could also make fucking World of Darkness without the fucking weird demon cult making burgers.
Yes. The problem with Worm and other Wildbow-based stories is that once you learn that every single one of Wildbow's characters are just self-inserts about as part of his schizo personality, it destroys your enjoyment in the story. Well, I mean, just reading
Yes.
a general Wildbow story destroys my enjoyment in the story.
This is why the fanfiction authors do it so much better.
Why have I been pinged?
Because they actually give a shit about the setting and the characters.
Oh, they don't know about the demon cult.
Wait. Are we talking about the same fanfiction authors here? We're talking about the same ones? The ones who don't know the laws of Texas, despite claiming to be Texan? The ones who claim to be a
Yeah.
gunsmith, but not knowing how guns work? The
But
ones
not
who
those.
don't know how Warhammer works, despite writing a Warhammer story that they've thought really long and hard about?
The ones with the triple digit IQs, Sneaky, not the room temperature IQs.
Okay. Well, aside from me and Gray, and Max, I guess, who exactly are we talking about here?
Bruh.
Fuck you. You dick.
I'd like to point out, everyone, he knows what he did.
Of course he does. He's proud of it.
I just want it to be well known, that's all.
He's the pigeon that knocked over the chessboard after shitting on it. Of course he's proud of it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But no, more seriously, I'm aware there's the rare few that aren't completely fucking stupid.
Rare.
But it's
few.
just, you know.
Hey, At least it ain't worse, right? Still,
Yeah. Well, speaking of there's always more and it always getting worse, is next week we already know what our content is. We're going to be covering an essay from Wildbow, the peak garbage writer of official non-fan fiction.
well,
Man,
that sounds wonderful. Paint me for that sneak peek. I want to be
okay, I
here.
will do. Yeah, we're doing it on Friday. So same
Uh,
place, same time.
Fucking hate
Fuck it, we'll do it
bots.
live, right?
I look
Yep,
away
fuck
for
it, we'll do
20
it live.
minutes.
And Nose, I'll hit you up later, man. Just
Yep.
I want to know about that demon cult making evil burgers.
But
Take it easy, everybody.
come back
God be
on
with you.
Friday because it's